What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Heal the Ring podcast. Let's talk some wrestling here. We're going to talk about this week in professional wrestling all across all the different wrestling platforms and companies. But first, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because Samuel is with us from Lagos, Nigeria. But first, I'm going to go over quickly to Pittsburgh and say what's up, good afternoon, or good morning to Chris. What's up, Chris?
What is up, everybody? Co-host here, Weekly Wrestling. I'm excited to be here with Kev and our friend Samuel today. Talk some wrestling. We're a week away from WrestleMania, and I can't believe it's here so soon. And there's still a lot to be talked about. I think I heard a lot of stuff that Kev talked about yesterday on Good Morning Wrestling that I hope we get into a little bit today. Because I thought it was really good stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to be with you two here today, and let's talk a little bit of some wrestling.
Dean, and let's go all across to the other continent, all the way to Lagos, Nigeria. We got our friend from, you've seen him, Good Morning Wrestling, the Samuel Lyons Experience, the Samuel Lyons Show. Samuel Lyons himself. What's going on, Samuel? How are you? Good morning, good afternoon over there in Lagos.
Hey, Kev.
Yes, sir. As hopefully there's a little bit of a delay, a little technical difficulties from Samuel. We are hearing you in and out sporadically, but we know the spirit is there. We know that you're there. Hopefully the internet connection gives you 100%. We heard you loud and clear a little bit, but it came broken up. We know that of course the Wi-Fi and the strength over there, but like you say, like in Broadway, the show must go on. But we know you're there, so we'll try to get to you when we get there. So we know that you're in good spirits and, of course, doing a phenomenal job with Good Morning Wrestling. Go ahead, Samuel. Talk to me.
Can you hear me? Because I believe I can hear you clearly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here once again. It's been a great week for us over here at Sportsline Network. Amazing, great shows. These past the three shows we've had, the Monday, Wednesday, and obviously yesterday. You Kev holding it down. It was amazing. Thank you so very much, and I'm grateful to be here. Shout out to Chris. Great to see you once again, and thank you so much for the opportunity, Sir Kev, and I can't wait to talk wrestling right now on Sports Jedi Network.
All right, no problem. Look, I'm gonna do this here. And by the way, good morning to Chris the Flash. Salute, Chris the Flash. Good morning.
Always, I miss you, dude. Hope you're doing good, Chris.
Yeah, I hope we're doing well as well. I know you're doing your thing, grinding on your side of the channel. I'll definitely love to see you pop in and out. But thanks always for thinking of us and showing love each and every time on the streams. Appreciate that. And also the retweeting and reliking on X. So appreciate that. It doesn't go unnoticed. It gets appreciated. Wanted to take that moment to say thank you. So let's go. We got a week, but I want to start from the beginning of the week, Sunday. The pay-per-view that was Dynasty. In the words of Kenny Omega, little Dookie. Chris, I know you have a different take on it, and I want to give you the floor. Honestly, don't let us give us your, and of course, I don't have to say this, but for the people listening and hearing us for the very first time, and welcome aboard. Give me your honest, brutal thoughts of Dynasty, a whole pay-per-view.
So I'm one of those people that didn't think the show was terrible. I don't know if it's because I was in Philly for the show. I don't know if it's because I was watching it right outside of the arena. A couple of my best friends were in the arena. I didn't go, but I enjoyed the pay-per-view. There were a couple things that didn't move me the right way. I'll talk about the pre-show match with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. I wish they would have done that with like a more proper build and a feud. These two at one time. Whether you disagree with me or not, I don't think they were just the hottest tag team in AEW. I think they were the hottest tag team in the entire wrestling business at one point.
You're correct.
Whether you thought they were corny, cringy, they were over. And they didn't really have like a split. Like it was just Anthony Bowens kind of fell off the face of the earth, and Max Caster started doing his own gimmick, which it's it's really bad, but it's so bad that I was dying laughing during this. I was like, oh, this is Anthony Bowen looked phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what he's been doing. And he's been doing a lot of softball and all this. He came back looking great, looking like a star. And it sucks that this was a squash match and this was placed on the pre-show, because I think a lot of the AEW fans that watched these guys earlier on would appreciate a proper feud and build, not on a pre-show. You could have done Bandito and Chris Jericho on the fucking pre-show, and let me get to that. Excuse my language, but it pisses me off with this, because why didn't you just have Bandito beat Chris Jericho clean? Why did you have to make this whole thing where Bandito loses the match and then because Bandito's mom said Chris Jericho cheated, the Aubrey Edwards, who wasn't even the referee in the match, caused the match for a restart. That made no sense to me. If you wanted to just have Chris Jericho Bandito beat Chris Jericho, you have it done clean the first time instead of this outside BS. It didn't need to happen. If you wanted to have this moment, it took too long. This should have been a pre-show, and the Anthony Bowen stuff should have been on the main show, because at least people give more of a shit about the Anthony Bowens and Max Caster stuff than they do about this. Now, the main event. The main event with the Young Bucks coming out, I know it's not a lot of people's cup of tea. I'm not a big Young Bucks guy. I will admit, I like the aspect of, this is what pro wrestling's kind of about. You don't expect things to happen. I didn't expect the Young Bucks to come out and do what they did. Now, this Wednesday, kind of them explaining what happened, why they did it, I'm kind of getting a sense of a little bit more of an understanding. They are Anarchy of the Arena is coming up for Double or Nothing, and that's one of their big matches. So we're starting to see, little seeds planted for that. But overall, the show wasn't horrible. I mean, there were some shows that could have been on Dynamite and Collision. I thought Kevin Knight and Ospreay was a good match. The triple threat match was long, but I thought it was the best match of the night. But I know people aren't happy, with Swerve not winning it. As much as I wanted it to happen, can we honestly sit here and say that we thought Swerve was going to walk out of Dynasty? I know I didn't. As much as I wanted it to happen, we just knew it wasn't going to happen. So the outrage is just, you guys know it wasn't going to happen. I don't know why we're so surprised. There were a couple dead matches, or crowd was off and on for a little bit. Like Kev did mention, during the Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia match, for some reason they were really excited to see Adam Cole, but once the match was going on, they just really didn't care. And then when Adam Cole won, there was a little bit of an excitement. But Julia Hart versus Mercedes was good. Again, just these couple matches that probably shouldn't have been on the card. But overall, it wasn't a bad show. There were just those three moments that I pointed out that could have been done a little bit better. But it wasn't the best pay-per-view of the year. It's certainly not going to be close. And I thought Megan Bayne and Toni Storm stole the show. I want to apologize to Megan Bayne. I did not know she was that good. I knew she was good. She had the size, but this was, to me, her breakout match in AEW. So shout out Megan Bayne. I'm curious to see what they do with her, Penelope and all them going forward. So that's kind of my thoughts. Three things that really pissed me off through the show.
Okay, I hear that. By the way, I've got a little bit teaser. I personally think, me and Chef were having a conversation last night after SmackDown went off the air from the watch along. We started talking about wrestling in general, and we kind of talked into, I think I know what Moxley's end game is with the Death Riders. That's a teaser for Wednesdays when we get to Dynamite. I think I know what Moxley's end game and how it could make sense with wrestling. Just stick around for a few minutes. Especially, we'll try to go quick. I want to get Samuel's take there. Samuel, your thoughts of Dynasty? I know I heard it on Monday, but for those that are tuning in on Saturdays to listen to the show, what was your thoughts of the pay-per-view for Dynasty there? And I want to hear your thoughts.
Thank you so much, Kev. I appreciate Chris for reiterating that once again. Cheap plug. Good Morning Wrestling, live on Sportline Network as part of the Hill of Dream podcast, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All right, so I went all in on this on Monday, and Chris did the live stream on playback on Tuesday and 30 minutes review, and he did say things there, which I also did take notes on too. But looking back right now, we are Saturday. This is like almost a week after the show. I'm just reflecting on the entire thing. I'm like, I believe, just looking in right now, the entire scope of that show, from if I'm with if I'm to look at what the management strive to do, which we know the management is TK at this point because it's everything: it's the president, the CEO, the manager, it's everything. So I'm like, he that show was him planting his flag and saying, I am sticking with everything I want. I'm sticking with what I've been going with. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. So I came out of that show asking myself, like, why would everybody voice the same thing and said, we don't want this guy as your world champion? We've not seen this championship since October. We don't like how you do this. We don't like how you do that. Why are you sticking with the wrong thing at the wrong time? We all want you to stick to things and give long-term storytelling. This is not it. Everybody says this is not it. Sunday was the I believe Sunday for me was the day he did pin it, and like, whether you like it or not, this is what I want. So I came out of that show, asked myself like so many things. I'm like, okay, so AW is now a company where you go, because I hate it when people try to be like, oh, if you don't like it, tune off. If you don't like it, don't watch. They at least they do better pro wrestling than the other people. And I'm like, nobody. I'm not sure there's anyone, whether they love or hate AW, would come here and or would sit there and say they don't know how to do pro wrestling right. In terms of in-ring performances, they are the best. Nobody takes that away from them. They even coined Tony Khan Mr. Pay-Per-View. Nobody's taking that away from him. He knows how to do it. The only issue is, can we do the simplest things right? Things like you put Max Caster out there every single week on Collision, sometimes on Dynamite, pushing him out to be a narcissist, somebody is trying to push himself. Then you were to bring his tag team partner back. What happened that week on the main card? That was a big moment. And you put it on the pre-show. Who saw it? It was because it was so big. People realized that, wow, that was even the best, a big moment. And people were like, then why was it on the main show? If that wasn't a big moment, nobody would hear anything about it. And those are the things we are talking about. And you put rules were changing all over the place. Referees that was not even part of was out there. A lot of things was you people were questioning all that. And at some point I'm like, coming out right now, I'm like, the whole show, not as if the whole show stunk or anything, as if you were just waiting for it to just, okay, can we just go home and be happy that, okay, and it just literally killed off everybody. And that's why I feel like just completing all over the show. The only issue is that the show was classic AW. But everybody went in there knowing fully well that, okay, we know Tony might assist, but we all hope, because of the pay-per-view's name, Dynasty. That was the pay-per-view that made that certified 12. So everybody's point is that, oh, 12 would do it again. Taste for everybody. I'm not going to come out here and say the show was a star, because we had great matches. Kelvin Knight and Real Ospreay did a great match. The best triple threat right now, with Ricochet, Kenny, and Speedball. You had Mega Ben showed herself. You know, crazy. You had Mark Briscoe. I wasn't even sure why this match went out there. We can't sit here and sort of say it all stink. I don't know. It's just that the main event took. It's as if you were just waiting for it to just, okay, can we just go home and be happy that, okay, and it just literally killed off everybody. And that's why people are just complaining all over the place. And to just top it off, what happened in the pre-show with um the dude Anthony Bowen's coming back on the pre-show, and you're like, he looks even better than we would have thought. Take on the show. Good Morning Wrestling once again, cheap plug. But totally agree with you. totally it's just the notion of like we all should accept that TK is sticking with what he wants. You want AEW, what should threaten anybody on social media if you don't if you don't like it, just cool off. So I just came out of it like, okay, it was TK's statement to me as a fan. This is what I want. This is how I want it. If you want to stick with me, stick with me. If you don't want to stick with me, that's there's the door. That's my take from the whole show entirely and what I took. Okay.
Fair.
I think
Fair enough. Fair enough. As you're breaking up a little, Samuel. I don't mean to interrupt, but you're breaking up a little bit, just a little bit there. On your thoughts, and I'm gonna give my thoughts. I want to also add on to Samuel's thought. I think that's what you're right. I think it's correct what you're saying, Samuel. Tony Khan is saying if you like the way I book, you like it. If you don't like it, you're more than there's more options. Go watch other options. I think Tony Khan is at that stage where this is my mission statement. What All Elite Wrestling is. This is the way it is under my image. If you like it the way I do it, support me. If you don't, there's other companies that could use that. Go ahead and take a look because I'm not changing who I am. So that's it, right or wrong or indifferent. If you like it or don't like it, I think that's what Tony Khan is standing on his grounds in 2025 when it comes to the All Elite Wrestling brand company. But here's my thoughts when it comes to Dynasty. Yes, first and foremost, I'm gonna say it again. The AEW is not my cup of coffee. It's not my wrestling company. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not going to completely demolish it or break the walls down. Literally, their match placement. I think their match placement, if they were to change their card a little bit with match placement and taken out at least 4 matches out of that card, maybe this would have been viewed like Tony Khan's. You're like the stereotype. They do great pay-per-views. But I'm going to be honest with you. The last 4 in a row have been total stinkers. And I have been watching the last 4. We reviewed World's End. Wasn't he? That Tijuana street fight. Let's not even go there. In Orlando, Florida. Okay.
We were pissed about that.
And then the other pay-per-view, Revolution. There was some. And then of course this Dynasty. And then prior to that, I believe it wasn't so. They haven't been really hitting so greatly on their pay-per-views. So they're living off of a stereotype, which is nothing wrong with that. Again, though. If they make the matches condense or less, I'm not saying give me WWE 5 matches and you're out of there, pal. No, you're still charging $49.99 to hardworking Americans, and when the time is a little tough, I understand. I appreciate that he's trying to give you your money's worth. I get it, but here's the pros and cons. You saw that at a Daniel Garcia Adam Cole match. People were fatigued and extremely tired. They were tired. You can only so much get excited and clap for so much, and especially when you're seeing, and I got to give credit, and credit is due to JD from New York. Many people hate him. I dislike him, but he's turned my other corner when I got to give him flowers on air. His passion and his criticism warrants for attention because he, the delivery may be comedic, but he means it from a good place in his heart. When he says the matches seem redundant, the matches seem redundant with almost the same false finishes at 2.99, too many Canadian destroyers or Sanama pump over and over. You do the same thing. You're using finishers for setup, the kick out. You tend to get desensitized, and then when you get desensitized, you start not giving a crap, and that's an issue that's hurting AEW all across the board, and maybe you could say pro wrestling all across the board with that. But unfortunately, AEW is taking the brunt. Or they're sticking up there and they're sticking their backside out to get the whipping of pro wrestling in general, not protecting finishers or self-explained, brought on by the company, but it's a pandemic that's happening across the whole industry. The false finish kickouts, not protecting certain wrestling moves where you're like, damn, if you power drive someone on their head, they should be down for go. I almost got expelled when I was in grade school. I almost power drive a kid because I was watching wrestling and I got into a little tear. And I said, "What?" I was a big, strong. I was a little husky kid. I grabbed a kid. I was about to power drive his ass, and the teacher Stop me. I could have got expelled, and I did it. But so if you're telling me in wrestling, I know it's scripted, but if you power drive someone, they're not going to, you're going to put them out for a while. My point is, that's an issue that's happening with wrestling. All in all, they could have cut some matches. Like you said, Matt Caster, and I agree with you, Chris. The Acclaim was the hottest thing all across wrestling. Listen, I'm going to tell you a thing here. In NXT, when we were in the parking lot joking around, people were scissoring. Scissor me, daddy. People were doing that. Yeah, I was perfect with Bobby. He said, scissor me. I had scissor me. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here hypocritical. Oh, I never did that. I did. They were over. Max Caster and Bowens were over. To put them in the pre-show, like you said, no build. You know what? You could have done it if it was in the middle of the show. He goes, I'm going to answer it. He cuts a promo because I'm going to show you. You could have made it work. You could have made it work. Right before the match, he cuts a promo on him on the ramp and done. But no, they had to prolong it. Simple things like that. The Bandito match with Jericho. They have a pay-per-view coming up in May, which I don't think anyone. No one's going to give a rat's ass about. I'm sorry. No one watches the Ring of Honor on the paywall. But you need the star power to draw people in. You could have put Jericho there. You could have had that there. You could have had that. But I know Jericho is gonna tour with Fozzy. He's gonna take a break away from wrestling. He's gonna go do, he's a musician. So he's got he's gonna be away. He's not going to WWE, he's going away to play on the road. So let's take that out of everyone's mouth, or all the people that like to copy and paste and become internet IWC parrots. That they only want on a cracker, repeating everything that's being thrown out there. He's going on tour. When it comes to the finish of the Death Riders, we knew that was going to happen. We said it here. I don't see Swerve winning. You don't want Swerve to be a transitional champion. He deserves better than being a second-time transitional champion, because you did that with Daniel Bryan. All the complaints were Swerve should have not lost the title to Daniel Bryan because it led to this crap and all that. But that would have been a short title run from Dynasty to All In. Then they're going to have him do, again, Dynasty and give it up in Texas, because everybody in Texas has either Will Hairspray winning the world title or Hangman Page. You think he deserves to be a transitional champion for what the guy's done? Literally, he's burning bridges with fighting with Booker T. And that's another thing. You finish your main event, and the last thing you say to go off the mic, off the air, or to the people in the crowd, F Booker T. So you're talking about NXT? Really? Instead of saying, yo, we're gonna be the best. I mean, that's the issue, the disconnect, Chris, that you have that. All in all, the performance were okay matches. Again, certain people shouldn't be on that card. I say this with peace and love. Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe should have been the main event for a Dynamite, not for a pay-per-view. Yeah. Not for a pay-per-view. If you especially when you're having your pay-per-view the next on Wednesday in Baltimore, where the Briscoe farm is not so
yeah.
I mean, come on! It's there. It's there for you on a silver platter. It's like the girl who has the double D tits sticking out, and the guy is like, "Oh, I like your toes." Come on, Tony Khan. Come on. They're right there. Come on. It's right there. It sets itself there. Those things makes you like scratch your head and like, what the hell is going on? If you're bald, you're losing more hair. Seriously, because this shit doesn't kind of make sense. Didn't we say Mercedes was going to have her best match? Excuse me, Julia Hart was going to have her match.
She had her best match.
And that doesn't take away that match delivered, but it shouldn't been, again, another match that should have not been placed on that card.
Yep.
Owens should be on television, so people could watch your television for this tournament, and then the finals could be, or the semis could be on pay-per-view, so people could like, damn, who won? Damn, I'm invested in this damn tournament. They got me hooked to see who the hell is gonna, and then you go, oh, I'm gonna pay the $49.99. Yeah, I got to see the end of this hook. I got to see the end of the story of this tournament. They failed to deliver on that. But all in all, not a good pay-per-view. I could see where the WWE sickos, AEW sickos did not like it, did not agree with it. But I'll ask this question, though. I'm going to ask this question, and I want it your brutal honest, and then we'll move on. I'm getting right into the week. If Hangman I mean, if Swerve would have won and Death Riders would have lost, would the narrative of the whole pay per view change, or is it shitty because of the ending? Because you take, what's your thoughts, Chris?
You have a good point. I think there's one of two things. Either Swerve wins it and everyone's happy, but I think the main thing that pisses everyone off is the fact that the Bucks are back. And me, I'm somebody who I can't, if there's two, like my dad yesterday, he was like, Christian, how are you so tired? You're a young buck. I literally wanted to throw him across the room because he said the word young buck and he called me. I cannot stand the young bucks. However, I can't stand it. I think that's a big reason why too. It's that the young bucks came out and it's that Swerve didn't win. It's a mixture of both those two things, Kev, in my opinion.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. And I'm same question to you, Mr. Lyons. Your thoughts if Hangman, if I keep saying damn Hangman, Swerve would have won the AEW title on that pay-per-view, would they Sicko say that was a great pay-per-view, or would they still had this discord or dislike?
Definitely. Both the sickles and the non-sickles would definitely say it was, because I believe this outrage is because they were able to stomach everything in hopes that the Dead Riders will be put to death. All pun intended. And with him
I
not
agree with
winning,
that.
and with all the debacle that ensured, people were like, really? And at some point, I was like, I got the memo now. I just wish he swerved us. I mean, no pun intended there, and put this main event to kick off the show. So at least we'll get through everything. The triple threat was so good to be like, "Ah, why didn't that main event? If you knew you were going to stick with this, and like I I wish I can even be in the room with anybody, just anybody in the management team, to be like, who was in the, like, those that knew that this was going to happen. Why did no one say anything? Okay, people will be mad. Can we put this at least to kick off the show? Let it be like a surprise. Kick off the show with this, and then let it just have the story play out. So the main event just really took. Everybody was waiting and waiting and waiting. So I feel if Swerve won, no one. I'm not sure if all this outrage will even be a thing. That's just my
Well,
honest take on that one.
sorry. Well, we're never gonna know. No one's ever gonna ask them that question, Samuel, because we have people at these media scrums with credentials that are too busy worrying about a freaking Waffle House order than actually asking those type of questions. So,
Man, you know what? I wouldn't mind a little bit of hash with some pancakes, some bacon, man, and a little scramble. Man, I'm a little hungry. I
Somebody
had my
cut your
coffee, but
ATM out there. Some
man,
people don't
yeah,
really have to be in some
with
places.
some oh man, some hash browns or some home fries. Man, I could go good right now
I'm good.
on that.
I'm good.
Now let me say this right now. If the Bucks would have came out earlier on the pre-show, because you had freaking 90 minutes of a pre-show, and say, "Oh, Nicholas and Matt Jackson, they're back. What are you guys are doing here? Good to have you back. We're here. Listen, we've been watching this product at home, and my goodness, I don't like what's happening to our company, the direction, and we just can't sit back at home and just stay here and watch. I can't let it slide, brother." Even if they joke around with the Hulk Hogan, I can't let it slide. Now you're intrigued. What are the Bucks gonna do? Well, now when you see the Bucks come down the ramp and they're walking down, and you're like, damn, the Bucks are gonna help Swerve. I can't have this no more. We built this company on blood, sweat, and tears. Even that, just a simple promo, like it or not. And I know it's hindsight 2020. Oh, you're just Monday morning quarterbacking, but just hear me out before you ridicule it. If he would have came out and said, have that promo, and then you see, oh, here comes the Bucks. We heard them very passionate on the pre-show saying that they're not liking the direction of this company. They're here to take back their company, or help out Swerve, and setting up for the Death Riders. Fans go, they're going bananas, and then bam, you get hit in the nuts. But no, they came out of nowhere because Tony Khan wants to condition the sickos. Oh, surprise! He's here! And Tony Schiavone wets his fucking pants like a little bitch. He's here! He's here! He's here! Oh my God! It's the Young Bucks! No,
I feel
go set it up. Come on.
I feel that's the narrative that got everyone more pissed, because people were like, wait, did TK really feel the Young Bucks are big enough surprise for us, me to believe and to digest that? Like, really, are they really, did he really feel they are too big of a star for me to just, forget the fact he just fucked up one of the most anticipated main events in his company's history, because we were like, we hope the change of the guard, and you brought the Young Bucks. And by the way, when they left, didn't they say they wanted to literally save this company? Like, we were all believing they will come back and save it, and they are coming to kill it the more. That's what people will be
They
wondering.
left because the thing I don't understand about that, Samuel, is the Death Rider, or the Young Bucks are part of the reason, or the Death Riders are a part of the reason why the Young Bucks were gone in the first place, and now they're back to help them. Again, when we talk about Dynamite, the Young Bucks say it was for Hangman, whatever. We'll get to that then, but I still don't think that was a good enough explanation of what they did. And we'll talk about it when we get to Dynamite, but the Young Bucks basically come out and say, "Oh, we did it for Hangman. We did it for Hangman because Hangman's our friend and he hates Swerve."
You know what, Chris? Let's go. Let's not jump. Let's stay with All Elite Wrestling. Let's stay with All Elite Wrestling. Let's go into that Dynamite. Let's go into that Dynamite because everyone was saying, "Oh my God, the pay-per-view stink." But let's see what the follow-through. Let's see what the follow-up. Let's see what's going to happen, because AEW, when it comes to the pay-per-view, rarely follows up. They want to be like Men in Black with the taser to make you forget. Storylines don't make sense. It gets convoluted. It gets bananas. It gets crazy. The show, of course, kicks off from Baltimore, Maryland, like we mentioned, the home of the Briscoe farm with the chicken coop and all that good stuff there. The show kicks off with Moxley talking about his title defense against Swerve. You get Moxley versus Shibata, where, so Shibata gets a title match. No number one contenders, no nothing, but meanwhile, you got a couple other wrestlers helping out a tag team to try to win and try to get into them, trying to get initiated. But meanwhile, that guy who was your face of your company, one of the hottest tickets, is out there trying to get into a club. These guys, I want to be the dork who wants to join a syndicate. But you got Shibata. You got Shibata taking on Moxley. I understand you got to prolong it because you got to. But he pretty much. I'm gonna go right to it. Moxley gives a power driver to Shibata, but he gets right back up. That's the issue. A power driver. Remember I was talking about but he gets right back up. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, he hits him with their pick.
Yeah, and then he goes for a right hand, but Moxley with a clothesline goes for a cover, but Shibata kicks out. A power driver by Moxley pushes Shibata and gets right back up again. And then he kicks Moxley in the head, a snap mare followed by a chin lock. By the way, what a way to start your main event after 5 hours of wrestling on midnight. The first thing between Swerve and Moxley was a freaking headlock. I mean, come on. After they're doing Canadian destroyers from the top ropes and all this other stuff. But anyway, I digress. So followed by chinlock, Moxley reversed it in his near naked choke of his own. Shibata is knocked out. The referee calls for a bell. But here's the thing that kills me. Moxley wins. He's out there. Out comes the Young Bucks. So the Young Bucks are calling out Moxley, but Moxley was just there a minute ago, and he's walking through the crowd. How does that make sense? Oh, Moxley, come back out. If you turn your fucking neck, he's right there. Come on. I mean, the opening there, he calls out John Moxley, but we get the one and only Kenny Omega comes out. And he cuts the promo of all promos of the Dookie of all Dookie. Before I went to sleep, I was doing a Knicks game. I just saw some clips, whatever I was exhausted, whatever the hell was. And I saw that part of Kenny Omega, and I just saw a little part where he's talking about something, and then the crowd stumps him, and and the worst thing you could do on live TV, lose your train of thought, lose your mindset, and he did. Chris, I mean, Kenny Omega, then he says, talking about two Shih Tzus dogs that they pooped all over the house. So anyway,
I'm not gonna lie.
If I had a friend that much of a pig, I won't be his friend. You can't clean your dog shit.
This made me disappointed in many ways because Kenny Omega is one of my favorite wrestlers. And if you've seen Kenny Omega's work in the beginning of AEW with Don Callis, I mean, he's better than that. And that was bad. I can't defend it. That made no sense. I didn't understand what they were going with that. I think Okada coming out saved that whole thing because I think Kenny just said, "I'm just gonna go in the ring," and then Okada's music came out. I was like, okay, like we don't have to listen to Kenny talk. That was bad. I don't know what he was trying to say. I don't even know what to make out of it. I don't know if it was he was trying to like take a shot at the Young Bucks or whatever. But that was bad. But again, the Bucks said they did it for Hangman. Hangman and Swerve obviously have their problems. They always do Anarchy in the Arena for Double or Nothing. So I think this is what they were I think that's what they're setting up for with the Young Bucks, Swerve, Kenny. It was cool to see, kind of Swerve and Kenny get their little fist bump in. Maybe they'll team together at Anarchy in the Arena. But that Kenny promo was awful. It was awful. It was horrible.
That was bad. That was bad. Samuel, Kenny Omega's promo, but I'm gonna. Samuel stepped out for a minute. I'm gonna make a little bit of a risk. I'm gonna take a risk. See if I could play this, courtesy of All Elite Wrestling. I'm gonna take a calculated risk. Hopefully, I could play it here. I'm gonna play it from my X account.
This is a risk
because there's a risk, but I want to hear the essence of it. And if it loads, we'll be happy. I mean, the Samuel, it's giving us the Samuel treatment. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's try it one more time.
You were tearing up receipts of private jets, of the chair that you put in your master bedroom facing the bed. The OnlyFans account.
That's what I didn't understand.
What the hell was that? And then he just paused it.
I didn't understand that part right there. That right there is what I did not. It was what I did not understand. I don't know why that came out of nowhere. I was like, who the fuck does OnlyFans with? No, I don't. That was all over the place because nobody.
The chair.
The Bucks don't have an OnlyFans like that. I didn't understand.
And the chair that you turn around in your bedroom, what? And then
something about
who the hell said
jet?
Samuel, can you make sense of this? Maybe I don't know.
Oh my god! Today's one of those days. It was something like that made me. It was a promo or something like that made me ask questions like, what is actually going on over there? Like, I don't know if it's rumors or if we're supposed to take it as a joke, but you hear things like, oh, they don't have production meetings. Oh, everybody gets to go out there to do what they want. TK approves. And I'm like, my God.
Let me ask. No, I was gonna say, does that feed into that narrative? Do you think after seeing that, do you think there's production meetings going on?
Who would hear that and feel that there's anything going on there? Nothing is not. It feels, if you tell me something is going on there, that proves that nothing is going on there. Because it's not any other person. It's Kenny effing Omega. It's not Kevin Knight. Sorry to bring Kevin Knight into this conversation, but it's not Kevin Knight. Neither is it Mark Briscoe or any other. I will not say low level, but let me just say any other person that we can say, oh, maybe can be a mistake. It's not even fucking Ricochet. I mean, it's Kenny Omega, one of the execs, one of the day ones. I mean, we won't even be talking about AW without Kenny Omega, and he goes out there and does that. And I'm like asking, what is Jim Ross's job? What is Tony Schiavone doing over there? What are the producers? Okay, I heard they employed Madison Rain, they employed Pepe Day. We have a lot of people. What the other podcast over there? What is he doing? What's his name? I mean, we have a whole lot. So nobody talks to anybody over there.
We're talking about Will Washington. He's being a mark.
Brother.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on with Washington. I mean, come on, you. Not a dead shit podcast. I'm like, what is going What is going on over there? I can't wait. I don't know if Dave. I don't follow Dave. I don't know if Dave has responded to any of this, but I believe it's one of the times I might be anticipating for somebody to retweet it for me to see what he has to say about this, because this was so, it was television bad. No one took their bags and said thank you for all you've done for me. I refuse to go down the drain with you. Off I go. Because it's madness. And they have people like Samoa Joe in there. They have likes of, nothing. Kenny goes out there and does that. What are you telling me? What am I to expect from any other person? If Kenny Omega can go out there and fuck up that bad, stink that bad. Sakev, we were talking about this. Was it 2 weeks ago? About how we wish they could have given Kenny, Speedball, and Ricochet a sit down session. And I don't know if Chris did not really buy that from
Yes,
me when I said I don't really
I'm
see
glad they did
Kenny
it.
as a doing well on the mic. I don't know if it was you or Chris. I'm like, Kenny is not like very strong there. My God, did he really go out there and really showed everybody that, oh yeah, I'm that bad? And then when you when you have the likes of, as crazy as everybody might make him to sound, I know for sure for them well that Jim Cornette is waiting and licking at the chops to get on the on the mic and just rain his parade on this, because this was bad. And I'm like, goodness. And at some point, I'm like, do they even care anymore? I feel, I don't know if anybody have noticed, every single time I see Kenny out there now, especially since he came back from this surgery, everything he had to go through, like it's as if he doesn't care. I just see that of man. It's as if you don't see him go. It doesn't look like the best bout machine to me. It doesn't look like the Kenny of the old. It's as if I'm just seeing somebody that can't just wait for everything to just be over. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm like, I don't see him. It doesn't look like he wants to be there. My God, a promo. You can't. You had just one job. From Sunday to Wednesday, you knew what you were going to go out there to do. So you tell me just one job. You're being paid higher than any other person there. That's what you go out there and do. So I don't even want to talk about the problem, because to me, I just want to ask, like, what are they doing over there? Who is talking to who? Is everybody just their own man?
Yes,
My God.
it shows it. It shows it, and it's all because of one man and one man only. There it is. He's out there doing that to the AEW fan base.
Oh my
Tony
God.
Tony Khan. Tony Khan doing that to the AEW fan base. I mean, look, when it comes to the Bucks, and Omega, they're your EVPs. Everyone knows that they're the EVPs. They're the founding fathers who started this company. When they go out there and he can't even cut a promo there, what makes you think the people that are inspiring see them and like, yo, your leaders, this is the leader, he can't even cut a promo and you're gonna tell me? That's the issue. That's the problem right there. That showed what AEW, the cracks in the foundations, in the issues or the problems with All Elite Wrestling. And I don't want to say that's bullshit. They were thriving without him. When Cody Rhodes left that company, lost a lot of cachet, credibility, and when he talks to you, you stop. Because here's the reason: not because he was a mean. There's authority with some legacy and proven track record when it comes to Cody. Yeah, he failed in WWE, but his dad is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and his dad was a booker. He was well respected for many years. Promotion, AEW, and WCW, NWA. We all know his history. And when Cody Rhodes was part of that lineage, royal family, when he starts talking about production media and he gives you a critique or advice, you're going to listen because his father's been down that road. When you were crossing the river, Dusty Rhodes was on the other side, dried up, waiting for you to get your ass across the river. So guess what? The son knows the struggle of the father of crossing that river. And when you see a wrestler trying to cross that river and he's out there extending a hand to help pull you on shore, you're going to take it. When it comes now with I'm using it as a metaphor, the wrestlers these days now, it seems in AEW, when a veteran is trying to stick their hand out, they slap it away. I do it on my own. But when they see a guy like Kenny Omega, why am I going to grab your hand? You can't even freaking you took the helicopter over the bridge. You took a bridge. You took a helicopter. You didn't swim over the turbulence river. And you're on this side. I gotta listen to you. Get the hell out of here. Or Tony Khan, who never learned, was never on the learning tree. And there's nothing wrong with that. He has a lot of passion, a lot of love for the business. I get it. A lot of love and passion, because he could have easily just been eating cocktail shrimps on his yacht and having, mimosas. Now have to be running a wrestling company and taking shit from a bunch of people behind a keyboard saying how much he sucks and all that stuff. So I respect that from Tony Khan. My point is, he doesn't, but he never learned. He never built this. He just added money to it. People are not going to listen because you know what? You haven't been through the fire. You haven't swam in the turbulence water with me. So how am I going to listen to you? I'm going to reject your advice, Samuel.
You know what Kev, sorry Saka, for I want to just chime in, because as you were talking, I just remembered one thing. Chris, I don't know if you guys watched the Cody was also still over there. The first was it the reality show the AW tried to produce, AW All Access. I don't know if anybody catch it. The one thing that got to me when that was announced, I was like, I don't want to see any of that. Because I'm like, I want to always watch them when I tune in. I'm like, I don't want to see any backstage. Like, leave it for WWE. WWE, they've been doing this for years. I don't want to see that. But I appreciate that now. You know why? Because I remember one moment. When at that time, Ricky Starks, now Ricky Saints in NXT, was out on injury. I believe the neck issue. And there was one moment, Kamara caught him and Cody. Cody was with a lot of papers, with his suits all over the place, going for meetings and all of that. And there was a point where Ricky Starks came to meet him. I don't know, I believe they were still it's one of their shows, and over the announce booth, Ricky was just out there meeting him. The place was still empty. People were there doing production works, and Ricky met him and was like, he's out on his injury, he's feeling down, he's all of that. And Cody looked at him like, but you can kill it on the mic. That's why we are putting you out there on the announce booth. Go out there and kill it. And I believe at some point, Ricky Starks was on the announcer. He was doing announcing and all of that. And the dude was all fiery and all of that. And I'm like, simple things like that. You have somebody to go back and talk to, because they have experience. They've been into this business. And I'm like asking myself, Cody was just at that time how many years into the game? I'm not even sure if he was even up to 20 years into the game. And you see young guys like that. You had the likes of Jade going up to him. People, almost all the talent were going up to him. And I'm asking, that's the company that had Mark Henry, Big Show, Tony Schiavone, JR. Who is going up to them? They even have more experience over there. So why is anybody not going over there? Or are they looking at them as old school? I get that's the value that Cody brought to that company.
Yeah. Yes.
Samuel, I think, I know we're talking a little too much about this, but real quick, Samuel, I think that's why. I think it's because Cody Rhodes has a little bit of he can relate to a lot of the wrestlers still, and he's also an in-ring talent still competing. And I feel like a lot of these guys were if Hangman tries to go listen to a JR, it's like, oh, you're telling me something that you told these guys 40 years ago. Yeah, and JR's, look at all the wrestlers he's made, the Hardys, Rey Mysterio, etc. So it's, yeah, I just wanted to take that from Samuel, because I think it's the level of Cody was in ring worker. He's also one of the founding fathers of the company. I think they related to him a little more on that sense. But that's all I got for that.
No, you brought perfect. You put a perfect analogy there, because he's been through there. He's a guy who betted on himself. He saw something that didn't work, where maybe you could see, well, Jim, here's as we speaking on this, and I'm trying to compute and listen to you guys and put my train of thought. Maybe some of these wrestlers, like you said, Chris, you brought a great point. You did this 30, 40 years ago, and your times has changed. Jim Ross, you're now in this company, but WWE thought of changing you as well. Why should I listen to you? Because WWE thought you were out of time, or you're not involving. I'm not really gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to Cody, who knows, who betted on himself, and wanted that change. The same thing with Punk when he was in the company. You left because you thought the creative and the direction stunk, and you said, "I'd rather not wrestle no more." Now you're here because you believe in us. we're going to listen a little to you. We're not going to listen to people that's been out of touch, out of time, like a Shivani, like a. That's why
Yeah.
I got to give credit to Cody bringing in the producers that he did at that time, like a Big Show who's been there, who did it different, like a Mark Henry, which he says he's been
Henry.
frustrated
Yeah.
and he's frustrated and a
Oh
little
my
bit
God.
bothered that they didn't listen to anything. He tried to help people and people didn't take the advice correctly. He tried to talk to them. He tried to tell about Powerhouse Hobbs. You got to push them and other wrestlers, other so-called wrestlers that he wanted and say, hey, there's money in these guys. They didn't listen to him, frustrated him with the creative or his voice being voiceless and left. He made a different change. So you see that the struggle internally that they have in that company. And again, I'm going to say this one more statement. I am not a fan of this product from day one. I'm not a AEW fan, but I do believe if AEW does provide competition and becomes a threat to the WWE is going to get better. They're not going to give you the dog slap that your guys are supposedly complaining about. They're going to make it better and interesting, different, and raise their level of excellence to another set of heights. So we do want All Elite to be good because it forces them to excel and take their level of competition higher for WWE and TNA and all the other wrestling companies. So again, I'd say this with not to critique to kick a dog while it's down, but to help you critique or say my displeasure so they could get better. So my product that I like watching gets even more better, greater, and more exciting to watch. That's my statement there, Chris.
No,
And to just
well
end
said.
it for me, yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
And to end it for me, is I will be the last person to say I don't want
I thought he was
AEW
gonna
to be a part of the wrestling game. Because I've been heard.
I thought he was going to tell me a Mankind. Have a nice day. Chris, give me your thoughts on that. I mean, we'll continue. We'll try to finish this here with
No,
Yeah.
you guys pretty much said it. Well, I have nothing else to add on it.
All right, so then it leads after
I don't know
all
if
that's
I-
done.
Okay.
After all that's done, Swerve Strickland's music hits. He's gonna have a match with Pac. So they have a back and forth match, a pretty good match. But Strickland has a move, a buckle bomb, I believe, where Pac's ankle rolls up and he is injured. He goes out in the outside of the ring. In comes Doc Samson, who clears anybody. If you have a pulse, you're clear. You're good to go. You can have a broken neck. You can have a dislocated foot. Your bones could be coming out of your knee, but Doc Samson will clear anyone. You're clear. Go, get in there. Pac got in there. They got the finish of the match. Swerve wins. Now Swerve getting a lot of heat with the IWC because they kept showing the replay of the buckle bomb, and that was he kind of didn't execute it. Look, shit happens in the ring. You're not going to have your A game all the time. You're not going to be 100%. Mistakes happens. We're human. I'm not going to be like, oh, look, see, Swerve is dangerous. Don't go there, IWC, please. Swerve is toxic right now a little bit with the IWC, with the, agree or disagree, but it was a mistake. Pac looks like he's going to get injured, adding more hiccups to the Death Rider storyline and to AEW because this guy cannot stay healthy. Now, I say this, and I don't want to make a AEW thing. Was Vince correct to let go of Neville with the injuries? He was injured in the WWE. That style of wrestling could bring injuries. And I go this, although this is not why he got hurt because of his style of injury of wrestling, but his body tends to break down a little bit. You lose a little bit of equity when you start getting injuries reoccurring. Like, damn, what the hell could we do with this guy? You can't be counted. Now I think this is the end of Pac actually getting a push in that company. He'll be guys like a Tony Leese, or Woods. That kind of talent going forward. I hate to say that, Pac. You're very entertaining when healthy, but I think that's the end of that. Chris, and then before that we heard the Bucks say they did it for Swerve. They did it for Hangman, which again is like, what are we doing here? Are you guys? you know, it's like you copying, pasting from, you know, no talk, no production. Where's Janine Peppermill? I thought Janine Peppermill was this writer coming over that could write scripts and write stories, and what happened to Pat Buck? You know, I remember he was a game changer. WWE, he resigns from WWE, going to AEW. Pat Buck, oh, he's a producer, a story there. Oh, he's gonna bring in. Where are these people at? Where are these people at to say, yo, I don't think, you know what, try something different. That was so Rikishi. That happened so many times. And I know wrestling borrows from the past, borrow a lot of different things. WWE does it uber a lot from storylines. You know, sometimes the classic works, but you have to have that delivery to bring it. And for I like this company, sometimes right now you get your pressure rises when you talk about this company with these things that it's not even the thing that's sad about it. It's not even the performers. It's just the management of producers and organization that gets us frustrated, because if they were to tighten things up, they'll be good. They'll be a threat. Chris, first and foremost, we did it for the Bucks. Are you okay them borrowing from Rikishi's thing, what's your thoughts on that whole thing?
Yeah, I touched a little bit about it earlier, so I won't go too much about it. You could, I don't know, because at the end, you know, the Young Bucks and Hangman, you know, they're really close. You know, you could make an argument like, okay, like friends looking out for friends, like EVPs looking out for their boys, like, but it's, you guys were gone just out of nowhere, doing your things at New Japan, doing all this other stuff when AEW needed you guys the most. You were out in New Japan doing your thing. And it just feels like, why are you helping Hangman now? Why didn't you help Hangman when he was actually in the fights with Swerve? You guys were nowhere to be found. But all of a sudden, Hangman's not involved in the match, and you did it because of I just don't understand. They have to be planning something for later, like a part 3 or something, because you can't just say you did it for somebody who's not in the match. Hangman wasn't the one fighting Jon Moxley, or Hangman wasn't the one fighting Swerve. It was Moxley. Moxley are the reason why you guys were gone to begin with.
What do you want?
You came back to help him. You came back to help. Go ahead,
Chris. Wouldn't you want Swerve to win the world title and help? If it was we did it for Hangman, help Hangman win the title. He's your friend, and do the shenanigans on Swerve for your friend. For your friend Hangman wins the world title. Set that up.
That's exactly what I just said. Right, when they should have done this a while ago. They could have done this a while ago, and now that's why the explanation to me, again, you could, to me, I'm like, okay, they're his friends. I understand that part. But Hangman wasn't involved in the match. He wasn't even he didn't even come out.
That's exactly what that was.
So I don't see where Hangman played the part in that. I don't know. I think, again, Anarchy in the Arena is probably coming up, but again, even that's not going to make sense. So I didn't think they did it. Look, I didn't think they did. If you're going to ask me, if you're going to ask me this later on the show, did this Dynamite follow up? No.
It wasn't a good one, because and I got my thoughts on, and I think me and Chef figured out what the Death Riders mission statement is.
I want to hear that.
Yes, that's coming up. I'll tease that there. As a matter of fact, let's go with it. You guys are ready for it? Let's go, because we want to get to it. Everyone's like, spit it out already. You know, I'm over here like a stuttering John or Justin LeVar. Stuttering. Here we go. Me and Chef was talking about the Death Riders. Jon Moxley winning the title. And he said that he doesn't recognize this company, right? That he has said that. Correct me when I'm wrong when coming out of Jon Moxley. He doesn't recognize this company. This is not the wrestling company that he wanted to. Where the fans should not deserve to see the All Elite Wrestling title. He's been hitting it since October. When you look at the history of All Elite Wrestling with the title, you're getting a lot of transitional hot foot champions. Swerve. You go back to. Punk was the interim. That whole mess. Moxley had to been, it's kind of Moxley saying, I'm tired of coming in and cleaning mess because of the issues with CM Punk being the champion and an interim champion here. And then this, that, and Samoa Joe had the title finally from MJF, and then he only held it for a couple months to Swerve. Then Swerve held it The hot shot switching of the title. I'm not saying they need long range champions either in All Elite Wrestling, but he feels like the title is being hot potatoed by Jon Moxley hiding the title, not showing it, and becoming an obstacle where now the fan base, and I know it's a dangerous slippery slope because people you're losing fans, you're losing interest, or you're losing people watching. But by him hiding the title, creating anyone to win the title, whoever kicks this title away from Jon Moxley, it feels like you have to respect being a world champion. You have to be respect and the meaning of being this All Elite Wrestling face of the company world champion, because you took this title that I hidden, don't show you that I don't care, and hide it, and I put this company in the worst storyline possible. So whoever has that world championship is going to be really a celebration of like, wow. It's going to remind you, if you're a Star Wars fan, when the Emperor and the Empire fell and they had the fireworks all across all the planets. The whole wrestling community, the IWC, is going to rejoice that he's gone as champion, because we're now, and whoever is that should be dignify and dignity of being a world champion of the face of the All Elite Wrestling company. That guy is going to put respect to that world title. When we see it for the very first time, that image of that performer that holds that prestige of that title is going to be respected, and fans will want to respect that champion. Not say in the next pay-per-view, I think he should be losing the title. I think we need a new world champion, because I think these performers get a little tired of the hot shot back and forth of changing championship, and when there's no direction and there's no stories behind it. Like, make the champion feel special. If you're a world champion, no matter what, face of a wrestling company, and a company it's a $1 billion company, you want to make them feel special, regardless of the fact if you like Cody, you don't like Cody. Underwhelming. He's the face of TKO Endeavor, WWE, multi-billion-dollar company. Roman was. Think of the name and prestige of those folks. Like, whoa. And when it comes to All Elite Wrestling, who is the best world champ? And who is the face of when you think of the Triple B or the world champion? You don't think of MJF. I'm sorry, he's not the face. They haven't made him feel like the face of AEW World Championship titles. Be honest with you, you know who I think of when I think of All Elite Wrestling, the champions? Is Moxley or Jericho. I don't think of anyone else. I don't think, when I tell you, give me the most famous All Elite Wrestling champion, and you're gonna think, because Jericho was the first and he made it feel special with the least champagne.
I think Kenny.
You think Kenny? To me, I feel it's who do you think, Samuel? I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds. Yes, Samuel. Give me your thoughts.
I think Kenny. Go ahead, Samuel.
Obviously, if I just I really stand with this saying. If I think of the AEW Championship as a face, I think of Chris Jericho. As much as he is crazy right now, Jericho and Moxley, because of how it's crazy to say you call Moxley a savior of this company, because without even being on the pillar or being a pillar, I feel is the face of this company, because he's been here. He's literally saved this company. It's as if I have forgotten all Kenny did. It's as if I've forgotten all of the CM Punk debacle, or even Hangman Page. So if I think of AEW, even MJF right now, it doesn't even feel like something happened with him. So when I think of AEW, the face of that company and the person that represents that brand, I just think of Jericho and Moxley. And I hate to see that. I hate to feel. Okay.
I like Jericho.
Okay.
I like Jericho.
And I don't like the company, but I do respect Champion, and I do respect what he did. That's just what I think he's the.
Yeah, and I feel that's one thing with I feel Tony feels the same way. That's why he loves to stick with Jericho and Moxley. The way I see it, he knows the way I feel as a fan, like Jericho Moxley, that's the standard for AEW. If Cody was still here, maybe it would be different, but he's not here, so it's Jericho and Moxley for me. And I feel TK feels the same way. But at the end of the day, when you rate people too high, it's very hard to, sometimes like, okay, boys, I feel it's not going to be this way. Well, it is business. He knows how to run it. So let's him have at it.
Okay, I like that. So now you understand where I came from, and where I think Moxley's trying to do with that title. We're not going to be here to come back and save this company when Moxley might be retiring. I'm not saying he's retiring anytime, but I'm saying the next 5 to 6 years, he might not be world champion. The way he wrestles, his style of wrestling. Jericho is at the back nine of his career. He wants the locker room to go take this title. Make it appealing because when he's done, people are going to want him to go away heat, where he's fine with it. And when you finally take the title off of him, it's this new champion that's going to be the face, defeating Moxley. Go for it. Kind of like a people's champion / AEW champion, the face of the company champion, and go for it. I think that's why a lot of people are craving for Darby Allin to be that guy. Darby Allin, I'm going to make a hot take. I think he's the wild card coming up this week. I don't think he's in Mount Everest. I think this was a ruse, a rib, which is a slippery slope because how do you combat that John Cena turning heel like, oh shit, Darby Allin being the wild card? That's just me. Like, oh damn, Darby Allin, and then he goes and he wins that. He beats Hairspray in the finals and Double or Nothing. Talk about interest and restoring the good feel.
I would be so happy. As much as Will Ospreay's my favorite wrestler, the first person I fell in love with in AEW was Darby.
But you're telling me Double or Nothing one really is like you said, Chris. You said it's like your WrestleMania, or when you think of the flagship
favorite. I love Double or Nothing.
Exactly. Darby Allin and Will Ospreay, and the winner gets a chance to go at Double or Nothing to take that crap from Moxley. You feel the good faith and the restoration of the company easily as it goes. And I'm not a fan saying this again, guys. I'm not a fan of your product, but easily. If they do that, you're going to want to see that. You want to play that money because, wow, Ospreay and Darby Allin, who pretty much was groomed by Sting. And they're taking a little bit of the NWO storyline from there, where, Darby, Sting is missing for a couple months. Where's Sting? Where's Darby? Guarantee Sting has a little bit of influence on that storyline as well with that. But, again, I will see how it goes. Do they do it? I give it a 20% chance they'll even do that storyline because it kind of makes a little sense with it. Darby's the wild card. No one expected, like, oh, snap. Now, guess what? Damn, I should have tuned in on Wednesdays. I'm taking the show now for granted. I got to tune in Wednesdays because they gave us an unexpected. Don't make it Josh Alexander, which is not. I think Josh Alexander is going to be the guy that this guy that's going to join the Don Callis family. You could tell that's going to happen. But we'll move on. We'll see how that goes there. I wanted to talk about a fun 8-man tag match, but for $40,000.
We're still talking about it.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up with the All Elite Wrestling because it's WrestleMania week. We're going to be talking about all WrestleMania coming up. But this is my last thing on All Elite. That was a good match. Everyone did great, worked hard. $40,000. $400,000. Really, is that the best thing you could come up with creatively? And then here's another thing: out of all the people that you're bringing in new, why did it have to be Ospreay getting the pin? Couldn't Kevin Knight or Speedball get the pin? So people was like, and then you have Ospreay raise the hand of these guys and since he likes to do everything WWE, do the Triple H finger point to this guy like, yeah, this guy's up and coming. Chris, Heather, salute Heather, happy Saturday.
Salute Heather, salute. What happened?
No, my point is, Ospreay, are you okay? First, the whole match, the build of the match for the 8-man tag. And then the stipulation and who got the pin. Your thoughts?
Oh! The stipulation. I mean, it was kind of weird. It was a little bit goofy. It was a good match. Obviously, all those guys are good.
Yeah.
Leo Rush. We haven't seen Leo Rush in a while. So that was good. The only thing, I mean, it just doesn't. It was a fast-paced match, which I liked. The only thing I could say is there's no story. Obviously, the only thing that would make at least a little bit of some sense is if in the beginning where they were talking about what are you going to spend this on? What are you going to spend this on? If they actually show us a vignette of one of these guys spending the money on something. That is the only way I will. And they're not going to do that. No.
Okay. I was going to say, do you trust them to do a follow-up? Do you see?
No,
would you see?
They're not going to do a follow-up.
Speedball.
Speedball actually buying some shoes. That'd be cool. That'd be funny.
Find the Roman Reigns Nikes.
Something like have him like if they would just follow up with it like it but again it was weird. I don't know why. I don't even think they got the fucking $400,000 anyway.
Oh no, it was fictitious. It was a storyline driven. It's okay. And Heather says
But yeah,
because Will
they need
Ospreay
to
likes to
follow
put
up.
young talent over. I don't know. And your thoughts on Ospreay getting the victory instead of getting the pin and saying and if he really was pulling the talent over, he'll again have one of those new guys win and then grab their hand, push the referee, grab their hands, and go, bro. You know,
Bro,
it should.
I'm not surprised because they all came out to Will Ospreay's they all came out with Will Ospreay. Mark Briscoe came out and did his own thing, and then all you heard was Will Ospreay came out. All you see is Mike Bailey and who's the other guy? Mike Bailey and
Kevin Knight.
Kevin Knight. Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight come back there, and all you see is Will Ospreay just nobody gave a shit about the other two guys with Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. So like I think with these, I think I love Will. He's my favorite wrestler right now, number one. But when you're in a matches like this, you should let Mark Briscoe kind of get the shine
He should have got the pin with the hometown hero.
Yes, exactly. Boom, hometown hero, exactly, because he's from Delaware, which is right down the road in Maryland. So you let Mark Briscoe get the pin and let him come out with his own entrance. That's it's just a simple thing, but I'm ready to talk WWE. If I'm being honest.
All right. Let's wrap. I want to hear Samuel's thoughts on it.
Samuel, my fault.
Move on. We'll put the learning tree on the back burner. Jericho's going away and all that stuff. But go ahead, Samuel.
Not to drag everybody down with this company. It's just a whole lot. And this was my whole force about the whole thing. I'm like, okay, yes, Dynamite has happened. Now what next? I don't ever trust them with follow-up. And they proved me so wrong. You had Kevin Knight there. Since you signed him, he's been losing. All he does is lose. This win would have done so much for him, and then have Kamara follow him and see how the young kid is spending the goddamn money. If he wants to go to the nightclub, let him show us his life, at least it will make up for all the losses he has had to. And I will look at him like, oh, well, I mean, the kid got lucky and won the match and won extra money, and he's spending it. I'm like, oh, so this is character. At least it showcases. Use the opportunity of that money to showcase character, because to me the entire match already was like it was baseless. I'm like, why are we even having this? Everybody in that match came from a pay-per-view. Why are we not building Ospreay, pushing more on his tournament victory on, okay, have come out and give a promo and something? Why is Kevin Knight not doing something significant? Speedball just lost a match, his first pay-per-view match. Ricochet just lost another title match. Like, all these guys should be doing something to, like, to further their stories and further their personality. And here you are giving them a match about 40,000. Like, it just came up. Talk about lazy booking. That was one of it. But I now have an issue. I'm like, okay, cool. If this is what I want to do, fine. But to give it to Ospreay, and I'm very sure nothing's gonna happen. We are not gonna see, even if it was just I don't even have anything more to say.
No, I agree. I can see that there. And we'll see what happens with All Elite with their follow up with the money, the guys getting shoes, even if it's a comical thing for a few minutes there, even if it's on Collision. I would appreciate if they would have gave us some type of update then with the money and that stuff, because it says okay, because all we hear is like they're trying to do stories, they're trying to tell stories. Well, here's a good shot. Prove us wrong. Just something simple, even if it's corny or even if you felt like you wasted our time. We'll see how that goes there. I just want to give some honorable mentions. Get well Hook. He looked like he took a concussion and puke all over the ring on that match there. Man, it kind of worries you. Another injury, injuries happen. Look, Kevin Owens got injured. Injury happens in the professional wrestling ring. For Hook and Pac, hopefully they get health, 100% before you get back in that square circle, fellas. And of course, we're gonna leave that, put a pin on Dynamite. Want to move on because it's WrestleMania season on that. There, we'll find out with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate where that's going. People are complaining about that. The Learning Tree taking a pause. Jericho is going to go on tour, and Big Bill, we don't know, and the Bad Apple, if he doesn't rot on the tree, or by the time Jericho gets back, we'll find out. And as well, and I guess the Don Callis family accepting a new member. Could it be a walking weapon or a walking disaster? Only time will tell. I hope it's the weapon that comes in and helps revive there. But we move on to Monday Night Raw. The build to WrestleMania. Before I get to Monday Night Raw, we seen on Monday Night Raw. Prior to that, I want to go first to Samuel. What is your thoughts on the build on WrestleMania? Everyone says a little lackluster, not well. Here's my thoughts, and I'll let you react on my thoughts. I was saying this yesterday, and I'll say this again. I think the route of WrestleMania has been fair. It hasn't been so exciting that you're like, oh my god, I can't wait. Especially comparing it to last year, you had The Rock interjecting himself, either with the press conference in Vegas with the family tree, the slap by Cody Rhodes, or say it's bullshit, and of course, Rock slapping Cody and all that stuff. And plus, you saw the beatdown in Chicago when he whipped Cody Rhodes with the tie with that weight belt and put his blood on it, and The Rock with the concert in Memphis. All these memorable moments that it gave us on the road and then the night one tag team match. This year, John Cena, I think the European tour hurt the build to WrestleMania, where the crowds were electric, yes, because they were excited to see wrestling, but I think the United States crowd were disconnected a bit due to the fact of the time change. We are a society of habit, creatures of habit. We want to see our wrestling at 8 o'clock. We want to see it on these nights. When you change a little bit, yes, we tuned in. We made our effort, but not everyone. And the way social media ruins everything, because everybody wants to be the first to report it, and they want to copy and paste and spoil. Hey, so and so wrestler wiped front to back, and they want to post it. Like the fadeaway media wants to copy and paste everything and put all this shit out there. People tend to get a little disconnected with the like. Oh, now I'm not gonna watch it. I already saw what happened. Do you think that's what's hurting the build to WrestleMania, besides other things? But I think that's the main characteristic.
No, I feel after everything that has happened, and we are just a day or two away from WrestleMania. We're kicking off on Monday. I feel and with the man in charge in terms of Triple H, we know how creatively hands in he is and locked in he is in terms of like where he goes, how he goes, and what he does. I feel just like he will always tell you, WrestleMania is always locked in for him in October, November. I feel sincerely this man has his biggest piece on the chest was The Rock. I believe immediately The Rock was, when he realized that, oh, The Rock would not be part of my ship. It's as if the ship, when you almost want to give up, and he just had to make do with what he had. And obviously, for everybody, the expectance was also to see The Rock, and the fans realizing that, oh, he's not going to be a part of it the way we want him to be a part of it. It made every other story, every other match, every other feeling feel less than. I had this conversation with Chris yesterday when we were on the call, and I was telling Chris the same thing. I'm like, Chris, I feel The Rock not being a part of it the way we want him to be a part of it, because last year was so big because he was part of everything. He felt like, oh, even if you had other stories, you were like, oh, The Rock. Even other story, oh, The Rock. He was cutting promos on Instagram. He was all over the place. The Rock made it bigger. And you made mention of something about the United States, having this habit, how this and everything about habits. The habit with WrestleMania is larger than life, spectacle, and bigger superstar. Who is the biggest superstar right now? The Rock. Argue with your mother. That is the man. The Rock is the biggest. So, so him not being a part of the show, everyone's like, oh fuck Cody, oh fuck Johnson, oh fuck Roman Reigns, like, oh Punk made event, fuck him. So everybody just so pissed. Like, we want him to be in the match. You want him, he let us with a story for 1 year. We are all waiting. When is he coming back to tell us what he handed to Cody? It was like we all waited. Okay, the match that Cody fucked up for us. Obviously, we know the bigger story was, finish the story. We could not get story Cody Roman again. So we wanted 2 matches this year. Las Vegas, let's say everything happened. Everything is bigger in Las Vegas, right? All right, let's get Roman Rock, or we get Cody. Those were the only 2 matches everybody had in mind. You could even see with the WrestleMania sales. imagine WrestleMania. I believe if The Rock was part of maybe had a match in that show, we will not be looking at 100,000 for both nights. We're looking at more. I just felt everybody was like, okay, we're not getting The Rock the way we wanted to get him. Every other thing feels lackluster. And I feel even Triple H had to do. Imagine on a WrestleMania you're having Naomi and Jade. He had to make that bigger than ever, so that at least it feels like something. He had
making good points.
Punk, Rollins, and because sincerely for me,
yes, well, he's making great points. Yeah.
I wish after what Punk did to him, I wish.
Damn. Yeah, we're gonna hold on a second there, Samuel. Your connection is a little off, but you're making good points there. And he's making some good points. And hold on a second. Let me hold this mic for a minute. I hate to do that, but we gotta.
Go at it.
All right, your mic is coming in and out. Hold on, put a pin on it. Hold on a second, I can't mute it.
Put him backstage. Yeah.
Sorry there, Samuel. He just lost connection. So Samuel having a little bit of difficulties there. Sorry, I apologize for that. He's making some good points there. Chris, you want to rebuttal on his?
No, because we talked on the phone, and that was one of the what he was saying is, I'm not going to go too much because I'm just going to elaborate on what he said a little bit, because we talked about this on the phone, as he said, and it does kind of feel like, you know, with The Rock not being a part of it as much, maybe that could be a little bit of the reason why it doesn't feel as big as maybe it did last year. Because, you know, we still, like Samuel mentioned the other day on the phone, I think he just mentioned now, we still have stuff to see with Cody and The Rock. And now that, you know, The Rock and John Cena are aligned, I mean, I really want to know what came into I want to see those two together. At least before WrestleMania, at WrestleMania, like at the Raw after WrestleMania. I mean, I would love to see The Rock and John Cena, even Travis Scott, in the ring together, and maybe explain why maybe Cena aligned himself with The Rock. Are they cool? Are they friends? Are they not cool? Is this just like I'm gonna scratch your back, you scratch mine? Or is it like, hey, we're the two biggest names this industry's ever seen, and Hollywood. Let's go run this thing. We want to see more of that. And I think there's still plenty of time to do that. As Kev says many, many times on this program, SummerSlam is going to be the marquee event. SummerSlam is going to be the big event. There's still time to do, you know, I know me, myself, I wanted Rock and Roman for a long time, or what, maybe somehow they could come out into this, but maybe we can get Cody and Rock at WrestleMania or something like that. If The Rock's not too busy in the summer, which he probably is, but there's still time, I think, you know, like Kev always says, and I think Kev elaborated on this really, really well yesterday in Good Morning Wrestling. Wrestling does not take an off season. Wrestling goes on after WrestleMania. There are still going to be events that feel as big as WrestleMania in the year of 2025. So I understand why Heather would be saying, right, maybe they are pulling a lot of people in. But, you know, I said this on the program, and I like, since we're talking about the build, I'm not going to go too long. I after talking with Samuel, it makes sense now. Now, we're big fans of Braun Breaker on this channel. We're big fans of Penta. Me personally, I wanted to see those two clash it out one-on-one, and had the Finn and Dom thing perfect. Braun Breaker, you had the best spear in the entire business. I've tweeted this like 5 times. Braun Breaker is a star. Penta is a star. Those two together, me personally, this is a thing. This is an example of where this is not what I like, but it's not bad, and I'm rolling with it. We got to be, you know, just because I don't like it, I'm not going to, I hate it. No, I don't like it, but it's good. I like what they're doing because you can still extend Finn and Dom during the match. At the beginning, I kind of felt like they were just kind of mashing 2 storylines in one, because when you saw Penta and Braun backstage after Penta speared Braun during the match, like, yo, like it was an accident. Boom, boom. I think they should have built the one-on-one right there. And then maybe before WrestleMania we saw something with the Finn and Dom, but that's okay. Put them in the same match. Now that I talked with Samuel, think about it. There's more events coming up. You could have them in the match and then have one screw the other. Boom, those two have a feud down the road, and it's still going to be a good match. But the WrestleMania build's not awful. So maybe, like, for example, like, right, the El Grande Americano Rey Mysterio, maybe that could question you a little bit, or maybe I know the War Raiders in the
New Day
and the New Day, they're having their match. I know people aren't happy with that, especially with the Street Profits defending their titles next Friday instead of having the match on WrestleMania. So there's some things that could question you, but and it might not feel as big, but I still think there's matches that are going to be in the match for, like, AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Even the triple threat at the end, the WrestleMania. There's going to be matches in there that you're going to watch and you might not know the outcome of. So I still think there's at least to me personally, there's predictability and there's not, which is good. And it's WrestleMania. I think the name sells itself. But I kind of like what Samuel was saying there. The Rock is a really big factor, but the WrestleMania build it's not as bad as people are making it seem online. There is some spots that you could question, but not bad.
Sakev, Chris, amazing. Chris, you were talking, and immediately a lot of thoughts came into my head, and I really was like, I did not really see it this way, and I see it now. This is it for me. What I feel this WrestleMania is that when Triple H realized that, The Rock is not going to be a part of this WrestleMania the way he would want him and the way the people, meaning we, would want him to be, he went in there, called all the boys, and said, boys, you all complain how we don't put you on TV, we don't put you on the main cards, we don't put you on pay-per-view. Now is your time. Every story is about to take priority. Go out there and show me why you should be on that card. I tied back to his comment he made on the Elevation Chamber press conference, where the media scrum, where they asked him, like, have we locked in main events yet? Are the winners going to be? He said any match that feels that they should main event is the match that will go into the main event. And for me, I'll be like, why is Jay Gunther not main eventing? The story is sweet. He won Royal Rumble. His name says he's main event Jey Uso, right? Why is not main eventing? But nothing bigger right now than Punk, Rollins, and Roman. So it's just a whole lot of craziness that is going on here. I believe Triple H went with the mindset that, okay, if I'm not going to give them the Vince McMahon bigger than life, larger than life, the spectacle, I'm going to give them an NXT takeover. So this WrestleMania season, the 2 nights of WrestleMania is purely NXT takeover. I believe those children, everybody will go out there, and I believe for sure he has lit the fire under them. You be like, you go out there, every match that you feel is going to suck, if it suck, is on them. Because I believe this is an opportunity. Where in WrestleMania will you see Dominic Mysterio being featured on a championship match? Where will you see Jade make a one-on-one match? Naomi making a WrestleMania card. The New Day, War Raiders, what the fuck are they doing on WrestleMania card? And the Street Profits are out there. You can see people that we will not even believe that they should be making WrestleMania card. They are making WrestleMania card because an opportunity has opened up, a window has opened up. I feel as if I'm in an NXT takeover season more than WrestleMania. It's just that it's NXT takeover with a higher budget. That's what we are getting this year. And if any match suck this year, it's all on the wrestlers. Everybody should criticize them and not the management, because the management has done everything possible. Talk about Charlotte and Tiffany. I mean, come on. They've given them the opportunity to go out there and kill it. Whatever they go out there and do is all on the wrestlers. So this is an opportunity for all fans to hold the wrestlers, the superstars, accountable for what they need to do out there. Because everybody wants to see them win. Everybody wants to see them go out there and kill it. To this WrestleMania is, I believe, it's more than spectacle and entertainment. This is a wrestling. I feel like it's a Tony Khan produced Tony Khan card, because you are seeing match after match. Everything means something's going to happen. Like you feel that, oh, the target on their back. So I feel this is more like an NXT takeover with a bigger budget, because the biggest star, the biggest piece for this year could not make it. So this WrestleMania feels that way because people are like, it's mainly because of The Rock. Anybody that comes out here and say, oh, I feel because of this other match, it's a lie. Everybody knows that because of The Rock is not having a match with Cody or Roman. That's why we feel as if The Rock was a huge piece on this card, you would not hear anybody complain this well. This complaint is just basically because The Rock is not part of it in a match. That's why it feels as if it's lackluster. That's why it feels as if it's. But to me, this is like the fairest WrestleMania season ever, because everything just feels so. I mean, look at how. Imagine if The Rock showed up on the show and we were in the Europe, all the craziness. I believe even the decision to take WrestleMania on the road is because they knew for sure. Imagine all the shows they did with The Rock not being on the show with only Johnson. It will feel so bad because the US fans will sit on their hands. Okay, when is The Rock showing up? Imagine 3 hours of SmackDown without the European fans. We would be killing ourselves over like what the. But it's crazy. They had the mindset to be like, okay, The Rock is not going to be a part of it. It's going to be, this is the longest time we've had since Royal Rumble. Rumble was in February, but it still feels so long. 10 weeks of build is long with no bigger stars. So I just believe they had to do what they had to do and take this show on the road. And WrestleMania, they need to just the wrestlers need to just prove us wrong. I'm like, okay, you thought we could not do it. Here we are. Let's take it home. I lackluster. I can't argue with you, but is it going to be better? It has to. I can't say that for sure. It depends on the wrestlers and what they do on the shows, because the management has given them the platform. Go out there and kill it. This is a test for all of them.
You know what? You said it right. I like what you said there. I'm gonna piggyback on that because because the card is out. I put the wrong one out there. Sorry guys, I put the wrong one. It had Jordan Grace on that night one. I don't know why. I had it saved.
Was this your fantasy booking on display?
That was my fantasy booking.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because of the friendship with Naomi and Jordan Grace, I thought they were going to enter the tag team gauntlet.
I would like to see that in the future. I'd like to see
that's why I went with that fantasy booking there. So I apologize on that. But I like what you said. It's on the performers. It's on the performers, big time, because they're putting them in this position there. And then with these, they're saying, and this is the card for night one. When they say about all these multi-man matches, when it comes to the Intercontinental title, and again, I'm going to say this, I'm a little biased. I'm a huge Braun Breaker fan, Breaker Mark, whatever you want to call it, Braun Breaker lover, whatever the hell you want. I believe in the kid. I believe in Brunson Rothsteiner. A big fan of him and his family. But every competitor in that match has a storyline that intertwines with one another. And wrestling doesn't take an off season. Like Chris said, they have to continue. The show goes on. They have to bring storylines coming out of WrestleMania and ending storylines of WrestleMania. Of course, Braun Breaker's been the Intercontinental Champion who's been defending it against everyone from Kaiser to Sheamus to, who's next, kind of like a Goldberg type of pun. Who's next to take on so he could knock off. Penta teamed up. He speared Penta. Penta wanted what? Penta came into the company House of Fire. He wants an Intercontinental title match to Braun in his face. He goes, I'm taking on all comers. But they forced Dominic Mysterio trying to get an Intercontinental title match for Finn, but Liv Morgan, the Jezebel that she is, telling, why don't you go get it, Dirty Dom? And now that's a story where now, and you see Finn and Dominic going at it, not butting heads, but there's a woman now involved where she's trying to egg on Dominic to be an Intercontinental Champion. Why don't you do that? Now they all interjected into this match, because now you could have a spot where Dominic turns babyface, or Finn gets a screw this. I'm going to turn on Dominic, and then now you have something from Monday Night Raw, or with Penta taking the Intercontinental title. Now you have Braun Breaker either chasing back his title or moving up to the World Heavyweight title. That story could conclude. That something else could go on. Just because you're not a fan of it at the moment, let it play out, because there's story to build with it. They're going to come out with either the story doesn't make sense at the moment, but at the end of the night, you're going to see a path, a path they're going to take with each of the individuals in this match. Let's go right to one where everyone's taking a lot of dislike. Jade Cargill and Naomi. Jade Cargill was this big woman that you brought over to this company to almost going to be now 2 years. You have to showcase her at WrestleMania. You're going to have 2 years and no WrestleMania match for Jade Cargill. And of course, you brought Naomi back where she walked out of the company to reinvent herself and saying that she was frustrated the way creative, and you're not going to have her in WrestleMania. You have to put her in WrestleMania. You have to bring Marquis there. The build has been great with Naomi. Naomi should have been a heel months ago. And she should be, and I've gone to as far as said, and I'm going to say it again, she should change her name, Naomi, to Trinity. I'm Trinity. Naomi died. You're going to proceed with caution because you're going to, when you know who nailed you, who destroyed you, it's Trinity, not Naomi. There's no glow in the destruction that I'm going to bring. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. That you got, and this is a legacy show. Those that are complaining on Rey Mysterio, he's a Hall of Famer. Everyone, all the social justice warriors with Chad Gable, oh, he doesn't get chances. If you don't put him on WrestleMania, there's the boo-hoo baby, the boo-boo face. Oh, Chad Gable, another WrestleMania, not there. He's such a great worker. He's the next Kurt Angle. He's in WrestleMania. He's getting his spot. LA Knight, one of the hottest act in wrestling right now, where everybody's chanting LA Knight. Yeah, he has to be in WrestleMania because you're asking people to spend Ubers of thousands of dollars. You have to put an LA Knight in there against one of the hottest up and rising act in Jacob Fatu for that title. It makes sense. Now, Rollins, Roman, and Punk. You have to bring the top guy who carried this company for the last few years, and when they were shit, it was Roman Reigns. Rollins, the undisputed, unappreciative superstar in there, and Punk returning, getting his main event. You have to put that there. Heather says sorry, but Naomi deserves to be on this card. Yeah, because nobody has to put Jade over, even if it's not necessary. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely on that there. And of course, your women's champion, Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I've said this time and time again. Charlotte Flair came back to wrestling too soon, and not because of injury, because of all the turmoils and situation going through her divorce. I've said it again. I said it last night. I'll say it again. Rehabbing the hell out of her knee to get back. We thought she was going to be back last WrestleMania, and she worked her ass off to get back. And she might have lost muscle mass with all the cardio and all the shape that she got into. She's thin, but that's not the point. She got back. She worked her ass off, then going through a divorce. Not only that we tend to forget. We're all human. And then she has to work in the same company where her ex-husband is at. You just went through it, and I'm not saying they had a messy divorce that they can't stand in each other. They're probably two people who cordially agree that they're living together and being married to one another. It doesn't work for them, but they still got to work with each other and see stuff, and that reminder of that constant failure there. And then she has the crowd booing her. She's not going to be focused. That's why I think she came back a little too soon. I think after WrestleMania season would have been better for Charlotte, aka Ashley Flair, to return when everything she's dealing with, and also Andrade. They had to pull him off the TV for a little bit to get their personal, because at the end of the day, business as usual. That's why you don't see him wrestle. Maybe he's not in the right state of mind to get in the ring and he's got. Remember, wrestlers got other people's lives in their hands when they do certain moves. You got to make sure you execute it. If you're not focused here, you could hurt someone. So that's my point on that when it comes to Charlotte and Tiffany, the mishap, the back and forth, off night. We're all human. We all have a bad time, a bad day. The Charlotte and Flair situation. I mean, I hope both women get some kind of penalty, fine, bad behaviors match. But it has people talking, Heather, regardless of the build and all. But I still think we have to give Tiffany a pass on that. I want to go in this because Chris got a short on time. I want to give our WrestleMania predictions. We're sorry that we didn't. We'll do another video during the week, Wednesday, on other stuff, Span and Deliver. But I want to give WrestleMania predictions on night one. If you had the pencil, Chris, who would you be? Of course, the main event we know is Rollins. Who's your opening contest? And who do you like?
Okay. Well, again, I appreciate Kev, Samuel kind of, starting this early, doing their thing. I really appreciate it. If to start the match, well, what do I like? Matches that I like real quick. Yeah, we had enough of this train wreck during the Attitude. I wasn't alive during the Attitude Era, Heather, so I unfortunately can't say anything for that. But the matches I like, okay, Jade Cargill. Now, I want to re-elaborate because people took this the wrong way, what I said on Twitter. I think this is one of the best build-up matches in this card, night one. It's one of the better build-up matches because it's been playing out for a while. People really wanted to know what happened. And I thought what Jade did at the Elimination Chamber to Naomi was perfect. Boom. They have the best build of the night, in my opinion. I'm just hoping the match delivers. Like Samuel said, and Samuel, when we talked on the phone, he didn't really give that good point that he really just did, right? It's up to the wrestlers. And I think they could deliver. It's just I'm hoping they could deliver. I didn't say I didn't like the match. I didn't like the concept. Don't call me a racist. Like, no, that's not what I said. I said the build-up has been honestly one of the better ones. I'm just hoping it delivers in the ring. That's it. I didn't call any of them bad in the ring. I just said I hope it delivers in the ring. That's it. Jade has been going for a while. She's in the Performance Center. Naomi, she's good in the ring. I just wanted it to deliver in the ring. Who do I start the opening match with? Maybe start with that one. Or if you really want to get the crowd going, I mean, look, Rhea and Becky's match went on early in the night last year for their title match. You could start it with Tiffany in Charlotte, but if you want to kind of have like, this is the problem is like the only championship match with the women on the card, so you might want to put that as your co-main event. So Gunther and Jay. Start WrestleMania with a bang. Start WrestleMania. Everyone's already happy. I hope he doesn't come out eating Monday. He's still serious. You start WrestleMania with Jay and Gunther and we're in Vegas. Let's go. And then you hear Jey Uso. Oh, we're like, it's time. Like, we're here. We're at WrestleMania. Like, start it off with that.
Okay. I like it. Samuel, hopefully are you there? Are you not frozen? You okay? Talk to me.
No,
by the way, hold on. Who do you like winning that match? By the way, sorry, Samuel. Who do you like between Jay and Gunther?
I want Gunther, but I think they're gonna give it to Jay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Samuel. Apology.
You know, I feel in as much as he loves to show off as being an executive and a professional and all of that. Why don't you stick it so well to the fans and kick off WrestleMania with the Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio and El Grande? Let's just have everybody go mad. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do this? So I feel that just have the lucha craziness all over the place, and that would be fun to kick off the show with this. And as of right now, Randy has not been given a match. So I would love WrestleMania to maybe start off, and I know Night 1 is already booked so well. It's as if the card is fixed. So it would be so great to just have like from nowhere after the kickoff of the show, you have Randy come out with a microphone. He's just getting pissed. He's angry. How can you WrestleMania with no Randy Orton? I mean, then you hit the music, and Lester Black comes out. The place will just go crazy. That stadium will be mad. So I just can't. I believe but working with the card, Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano looks like a great match to start, and obviously Punk, Roman, and this is main eventing. I would love to see Jay Gunther be the match before the main event. Let's give them the co-main event respect and all of that. And if we are not going with the Randy scenario because this night one is already booked out, start with Tiffany and Charlotte and let them go. And I just wish after whoever wins, one of my pipe dreams is, I don't know where Britt Baker is. I don't know if she's done with AEW. Imagine the winner of that match and the light goes out, music hits, and Britt Baker is out there. That place will go wild. I'm just piping my dream here like, oh, Britt Baker in the WWE, that's crazy. No, shut the fuck up. That would be crazy. But yeah.
She's staying where she belongs, Samuel. She is all elite. She is all elite.
She's not on TV.
I'm just kidding. I know she's gone.
She's not going anywhere, but good fan. So who do you open? So Samuel, how do you open up the contest? I don't want to rush you, but Chris has to go. He has an appointment, so I want to make sure that he gets his thoughts in and Canuppins. And who do you like?
Yeah,
Who do you open the contest when?
We
Who do
can
you
keep
open up
going
the
for
rest?
another hour.
Yeah, but I want to make sure we get to that climax there because we got our thoughts and stuff.
okay. All right.
Who do you start the card with in
WrestleMania
WrestleMania?
the night.
Yes.
All right, let's make history. Let's make history. Let's kick off with Jade and Naomi. That is the biggest story. That's the most anticipated story. Let's make history. Two
I
black
like it.
women kicking off WrestleMania. Two single with no title, no, just hatred, just beef, and just pure and uncanny hate. Let's go. I believe and give them the most spectacular entrances any woman has ever done. Let's go. I believe that's the
Ooh.
best way to kick off if you're following this card. That's the best way to go. We know what they did in their entrance last year doing the big three coming down from the sky and all of that. Like that was dope. Let them. I know Naomi can be creative. Obviously, you know they will give Jade the biggest entrance ever. So let them just go out there and give us the spectacle. And please, I just hope Naomi can pull out the best. I mean, can make Jade look so good. Jade, I'm so scared for Jade because obviously she's green. I mean, her name should be Jade Green. I mean, she's so green, and I just hope, I wish, because right now, you know, Chris was telling me the other day, Chris was like, that's the Jay and Jimmy match of last, and that would be the Jay
I
and Jimmy.
said
I'm
I
like,
hope
bro,
it's not the Jimmy
nobody
and Jay match from last year.
Chris, it's not only you. People keep telling me that, like, oh, Sam, that's going to be that's going to take the spot for the Jay and Jimmy match, and I just hope those women go out there and kill it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they do.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I agree.
All right.
It
So
builds
who
up
you got
amazing.
winning? Who you got winning that match?
Definitely Naomi. Let's keep
Naomi.
going. Naomi should win.
Ooh.
Maybe Naomi should win with the
Ooh.
interference of the crew she would be rolling with. Let the crew come in and fuck it up. Let's go. We still have backlash to go, so we can still push this forward. This is the first match. They need to take this trifecta. It should end up hell in a cell. Let's go. Let these women get this thing to let them get it. So I believe Naomi should win what with the interference of our new crew, if there's a crew in town. If there's a crew, let her win with the crew. Naomi should win this.
Okay, I like your creativity and thoughts there. Me personally, to opening, this is a tough one. Opening contest of this WrestleMania. I know everyone wants to say Jay and Gunther. I like the Naomi and Jay Cargill because you want the crowd. You know you don't want the crowd to go too crazy, going bananas early, and then you want to keep that ride of emotion high. Regardless of, I think I will go with Tiffany and Charlotte opening it up. The reason why, because of the build, and get that out of the way, because it could either be a, like Heather said, a colossal train wreck, or it could be a holy shit. And they set the tone for WrestleMania. Regardless if Charlotte wins, I think, you know, even if they boo it and like, oh my God, this is starting off terrible, or if Tiffany wins, oh yes, Charlotte, yeah, thank God Charlotte's gone. Either way, the reason why I will go with opening contest that way, and I will have Charlotte Flair win, believe it or not. I love Tiffany Time. I want Tiffany chasing and get it at SummerSlam. When she gets that title back from her, because again, SummerSlam to me is the bigger show because it's the first time they're going to do 2 nights in New York City, and they want to get that going in New York City personally. And I will have, that's where Tiffany Time wins, but I hope the fans don't turn on her or say or roll their eyes with Tiffany at SummerSlam. They're patient enough, but I won't have Charlotte win here and have that opening contest. This is one I was thinking because we know Roman Rollins and Punk is the main event. The co-main event before, I could go either 2 ways. Personally, I will have it Jay versus Gunther. Where if Jimmy and I still think Gunther's winning. I think Gunther's beating Jey Uso. But if Jay were to win, even regardless if people are upset, but always remember the last thing. And I know Punk and Rollins and Rollins is going to be banger, but people are going into that main event extremely happy. We're yeeting if he wins. But where Jay is going back yeeting and going back to the ramp, Roman Reigns comes out, and you have a stare down between Roman and Jay with the world title. You're throwing nuggets. You're throwing nuggets, and you're throwing Pika and episodic, like they say, it's cinema. You see Roman Reigns were about to hit, or even in the gorilla, they follow him back and then you see Roman look at him with the title and give him that up and down look. I'm coming for that. Or teasing it. I know their match.
I just have Jay say,
Yes.
Go ahead, Samuel.
Imagine
Yes,
him
Sam.
looking at. Imagine him having that moment where the both of them look at themselves. Maybe Michael Cole or even James himself say, "Look at me now, Big Us." That place will go. My people will be like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow!" Because I mean, you thought I was not going to amount to anything. I'm the world champion now. Who the fuck are you? My God, that would be beautiful. Like he would
And
just
no, and then he's with his
enjoy it.
brother. Because we know Jimmy's gonna come out to celebrate or come out in this match for support, and then both of them, and they look at Roman at that title, look at them like, that dissension. Or before that, because I think everybody's gonna talk about this one: LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is your United States World Champion, and he's walking towards the back, and he sees Roman. I did this for my family. I brought back title for our family, and you're planting that Roman.
I would love it.
You know what I
Jacob
mean?
Fatu is my favorite. So.
And he looks at him and goes, and he looks at Roman up and down, and with the gold on his title, and he could say that. Yeah, I looked at the tribal chief. I bought gold for the family. Kind of like with words, looks around the words. My God, you remember WrestleMania doesn't have an off season. Wrestling, WWE doesn't have an off season. Wrestling in general, you have to continue to build storylines and more. You got to continue to build more storylines, more sprinkle more stuff, more interest you have to tune into Backlash. You have to turn into Monday Night Raw and so forth. Man. Yeah. I mean, it's a good shout too. Yeah. You definitely, you got to build that. You could go there. I like Jacob Fatu to win the United States title unless Solo Sikoa. Unless Solo Sikoa totally turns on Jacob Fatu and we get a babyface Jacob Fatu. I don't think nobody wants to see a babyface Fatu. I think we want to see continue him being that heel monster going forward. But that's one way I can see that. Who do you like, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, Chris?
He's one of the Jacob Fatu's. Before Jacob Fatu when I loved him when he was in MLW. I've loved the Jacob Fatu for years, especially knowing where this guy comes from. So him as a babyface actually would not be a bad, not now. He's this dominant monster. You need him like that. But in the future, his babyface run would actually be really good, in my opinion, because he's one of those dudes that he could play the Jacob. He doesn't have to play a character as a babyface. I think his natural personality gets him over. If you go watch his Azilla Fatu, Umaga's son, he does vlogs. And before Jacob Fatu was in WWE, he was real let loose, obviously, because whatever. And we got to see his the real side of Jacob, and he's so nice. He's just chill. He's a real life gangster. He does not play that gimmick. If you know this, I think he would naturally get over with the crowd. If he were to go baby in the future, too early for that. I love him being this dominant monster, but I could see a Jacob Fatu babyface run in the future. But I think Jacob Fatu wins it. I kind of, we talked a little bit about transitional champions, and I think Kev kind of put it on right where, besides all the personal stuff that Shinsuke had going on, they were going on the European tour, and LA Knight, is eventually what everyone wanted to see with the United States Championship. This could go either. I don't want to say it could go either way because I could feel I'm not a big LA Knight fan at all. But I love how over he is, all that. So I could kind of see why. Oh, okay, he lost, but at the same time, it's Jacob is just this dominant monster that will have a good run as a mid card champion. The only way I see him not winning it is some shenanigans from Jake or Solo or anything like that. That is the only way I see him losing the match. But I think Jake.
All right, I agree. And give me your thoughts, Jade and Naomi.
Like I said, best build up of the match. I hope it delivers. I think I think Naomi should get the win, and I'm gonna agree with Samuel. I know a lot of people, Jade Cargill is her first WrestleMania, put her over, but to me, I think Naomi getting a win over Jade Cargill will do more for her. Here's why. Not more for her in the sense, she's been there for a while, but she's been there for a while and hasn't been in these big time situations. Now she's breaking out. I mean, her promo last night on SmackDown, her little vignette.
They were great.
I thought it was whoa, like you say, be Trinity. Like this is you, girl. This isn't Naomi. That was Trinity talking to us. So again, best build up of the match. I think Naomi getting the win would make her more dominant. Jade Cargill's is tall, dominant. I mean, Jade Cargill has what they call the it factor. When it comes to size, height, she's not bad in the ring at all. When I mean like great, I mean she's in the performance. She wasn't set up for. I don't want to say success, but good in-ring work out in AEW. I'll even admit that I watched all of her matches, and there was nobody there to push her to the level like there is in WWE now. And I think she's gonna have a good match, but I think she has that it factor, and people are like, yes, Jade, I think beyond Naomi, I think that would really give her some credibility. I really do. Beating this new incoming star that everyone has high hopes for. She, whatever. And having Naomi to like, yeah, I did that. What's like, whoa, like we got to take you a little more serious now, including myself. So I would have Naomi go over, surprisingly.
All right, I'll give you my thoughts. I love what you're saying there. I love all you mentioned there. You peaked something there creatively. I will have Naomi beat Jade, but here's how I will do it. Where they've been teasing this, and we're seeing it, and they've been teasing, and they've been going back and forth, or cordially replying to one another a little bit. We haven't seen her. I have Nia Jax come out and cause Jade Cargill her match against Naomi, because now Naomi gets a victory, like you said. What's up? And she could get in there and align herself with Nia Jax, where Backlash is going to be Jade and Naomi, Jade and Nia. That's a story coming out of this WrestleMania, building for next premium event or Raw, for the one on there. Go ahead.
Do you think Bianca also has a big part of this still?
I was going to get to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, beautiful. You're thinking with me. I love it. We're thinking along the line creatively, because now Jade is going to be so upset and so hell-bent that she lost her first WrestleMania match. That Nia, regardless of the fact, because Nia interfered, you got pinned, she could go, and if Bianca were to successfully win the women's title, which there's a possibility, Jade could come up to her and set up for WrestleMania, for SummerSlam in the summertime, Jade versus Bianca. How do you get there? You weren't there for me, girl. You were too busy thinking about yourself. I thought we were a tag team. I got hit from behind from a girl that you brought in here to take my place. But meanwhile, you were too busy thinking about yourself, being selfish. You didn't watch my back at WrestleMania. Where were you? You weren't there. You planted the seed. Nah, I don't want to talk to you. I don't need to talk to you. And then Bianca, but come on, Jade, bam.
Jade, I was locked in the panel. I had to focus on my match. Like, well, yeah, I love that. I love that. And I know a lot of people wanted Bianca and Jade last year. I even said this. I was in a space with a couple guys. Why aren't we getting Bianca and Jade? Guys, Jade just got into the company at this point. I mean, you need. Yeah. I would say I thought this was going to be this year's WrestleMania. But I was like, look, like they're still like they can milk this out from like the three girls, like the three at the WrestleMania, that match. They could have start right there, boom, and they did. And that's why I told people last year, we're gonna get Bianca and Jade at some point, and it's gonna mean a lot more down the road. And that's what's gonna happen, because now what events have happened. Nothing happened to the point last year to where we needed this match or we wanted it. Now all this is gonna happen, especially when Bianca wins. Like you said, perfect. You were too busy chasing a title, and you weren't there for me when I needed you the most. And we're supposed to be the best tag team, where we were women's tag team champions all last year. And I love it. Love it, Kev.
Yeah, and it makes sense because storyline there. It's great there. So that's why I'll have Naomi go over on Jade with the help of Nia Jax. But instead of focusing on Nia, they'll lead to a match. Oh, she'll get hers, like Jade will say. She'll get hers. I'll deal with Naomi right now, but you weren't there for me. And bam, 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 and the way with that pizzazz and that tone that Jade has, then when she speaks, oh shit, I'm listening to her because she's got to tell me. I'm all for it at promos build up there. You got. Take my money, and it makes that match special. It makes that work make sense. I'm going to go to another match here. the Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. Oh, by the way, I didn't get your thoughts on Tiffany and Charlotte. Who wins that one before we bring the El Grande Americano?
Look, I would say Charlotte. As much as it's not going to rub people the wrong way, or it's going to rub people the wrong way. But again, I always wanted this story reversed. I always wanted to see Tiffany Stratton chasing after Charlotte, because I think that would make Tiffany more. I mean, it will still make her look more dominant, beating her, but her chasing after and then beating her, like, give me that. I want to see that, and I think they're going to do it again at SummerSlam Part 2 with a more proper build, hopefully, and not proper, but, you know, things a little more clean or whatever, where everybody's not complaining about it. So I got Charlotte.
Yeah, because Tiffany goes, you beat me because now I know what it takes. I had to push myself to that level to beat you now, and I'm going to take everything from you. You know, and it's it wasn't my time, but now it really is Tiffy time. I mean, something along that. Who do you like winning that match there, Samuel? Tiffany Stratton or Charlotte Flair for a 15-time world championship possible?
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather here. It's that time of the year for us over here with the cold and all of that. And I also apologize for the way I sound. Charlotte and Tiffany. I believe personally for me, I would want Charlotte to go over. Why? Because I want to see, because already she has literally in terms of the build, Tiffany is nowhere near the light that we thought she was. It's as if Charlotte literally was like he's taking up on herself to like kind of like expose her for the child, or kind of like the up and comer that she is, and it just so happens she's our champion. So I would love to see her go to the big time, and then could not do it. And then right now I feel SummerSlam might just be bigger than WrestleMania this year. So I would want Charlotte to go over so that Tiffany has all these months to pursue her and maybe work on herself, have her go through trials, let her feel what Cody felt, the hard times Cody felt. But in this case, it's different because she went in there champion. That would even hurt more because you went in there as champion, you knew who you were going to face. So what was your excuse for coming up short? And everybody, other person, have the women blame her. Oh, we'll now have to deal with Charlotte just because of you. You could not get the job done. Let her go through hard times with the rest of the women's division. And then let's circle it back again to her having a redemption at the biggest show of the summer against Charlotte. And that time, take it home. I just feel Charlotte is the better choice to walk away champion WrestleMania.
All right. And I'm gonna elaborate a little bit. Your thoughts of LA Knight, Jacob Fatu. Who you like winning that one?
Sincerely speaking, it has to be Fatu. Everybody wants Fatu to be the biggest star. I believe the company has even tried so well. Like this is the best job they've done to hold Fatu as a star that he hits. Like they've tried so well, the lights is just too much. So they can't deny, it's undeniable. I know that's for Cody, but right now Fatu feels so undeniable than any other person. So I believe this, like the stepping stone, like okay, we see it, we acknowledge it, we are finally going with it. Let him just go there, let him win. I believe Fatu should walk away champion. I know Elena he can be fine. He's the mega star. With or without the championship, he's still a star.
I like that. I like that. I like that. When you're talking about Tiffany in the chase, and here's the narrative that I think Tiffany might be immature outside of the wrestling way when it comes to promos and conducting herself. But her in-ring, I do not see that Charlotte. I'm not saying that she's she's not in her level. I think Tiffany. You saw that match with Roxanne Perez last night. I mean, that was a fucking good match. Those two ladies, and I've seen their matches from 2.0 to now. These ladies worked flawless, perfect. I was even shocked that Tiffany got that clean win over two-time world champion, the prodigy Roxanne Perez. I think it's just the way she conducts herself with promos, and it takes time. She's only 25 years old. You're talking to a 36-year-old Charlotte Flair, or 37, whatever her age is. She's got 10 years season over her. Of course, you're going to see the difference, the circles. But in the ring, I don't think Tiffany, it doesn't have to fall short with Charlotte. If she follows Charlotte as she's the ring general, follow her plan, her execution, that's just going to be a banger of a match. So, yeah, I just wanted to elaborate that. I'm going to go to the next match. She's 39. Okay, thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. I know it was in the mid-30s. I didn't want to call her close to 40. Women don't appreciate when you add more years that they don't have. So I wanted to be very respectful and very and when we're getting close to the accurate age or short changing her with that. Let's go to the Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. Rightfully so, deserves to be on a WrestleMania match regardless. And I'm glad there's no pre-show where they don't put him there where that's a slap in the face. But he's gonna have a match with El Grande Americano, with Chad Gable, who's doing one of the best work here with this his role, if it's comic relief with Otis, here with the Masked Luchador, with American Made, probably see them come out and help out. Rey Mysterio will probably have some nostalgic with LWO, maybe the Lucha Brothers come out and help out Rey Mysterio, all that good stuff. This is going to be a good match. Chad Gable with that Penta mask, a match. I think he's going to have that same type of match with Rey Mysterio. I think, and of course, I get Rey goes over and I think Heather, we're speaking the same language and we're thinking exactly the same thoughts because that's the same thing I'm going to say there. I think that's going to happen. Chris, your thoughts?
That was the same thing I was going to say too. So
beautiful. Keep it short and sweet. Samuel, your thoughts there? Do you agree with this one, or would you think see something different with the Chad Gable claim?
This one is very heavy for me because this just started for Chad Gable. Like this character just started, so I'm like on max the character now. I know it will be of a bigger moment to do that at WrestleMania, but I'm just like it's really way too soon. Maybe it was just to keep it stupid, simple and stupid. It's a short. It was just that's going to be
all right.
Bigger moment because now all about the combat Gable not get to WrestleMania and his character. I mean, only for him get on mass and had a bigger moment. Like not only did he have a mania, he came in, yes, himself in and like getting on max. People will talk about all WrestleMania week. Like,
Samuel's having
exposed
technical. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties again.
Who wins? Oh my goodness! This dude has literally put in the work. So we have him. Have him win and have the LWO guy. All the Mexican rest and rest him and make his
as Samuel has technical difficulties, sorry on that here. He'll be back on. Well, let me throw this scenario real quick. Any chance Ray? We know what Rey Mysterio already looks like unmasked. We've seen him. Any chance Chad Gable? Talk about ultimate heat. You disrespect the Hall of Famer, the Luchadors, and you keep the Grande Americano gimmick going. If he unmasks Rey Mysterio, and he gets Mysterio gets the pin, but El Grande Americano takes the mask off, and he continues with that. Instead of thinking that Gable was going to get unmasked, but it's Rey, and all of a sudden, I mean, wouldn't that be like, oh snap, damn, you don't have to worry about him being unmasked.
Yeah. That'd be something. Yeah, I don't see it happening. I definitely don't see Rey unmasking in 2025, but that would be hell. I said the same thing.
Just for a moment. So he, even though he does this, or you'll see him for a moment momentarily.
Yes. I mean, he did it with Dragon Lee. Why not?
Yeah, right. I can see that happening when and Gable picks up a win on Rey Mysterio by unmasking him. No, he tries to take his mask off. Nope, that's a privilege is reserved for Dominic. You know what? I like that thought too. Heather, beautiful thought on that one. Beautiful
I like that thought too, Heather.
I like just to throw that out there, and that's what I like about this conversation with the chat. And when everyone watches along, I love to hear that because it doesn't have to be always our thoughts, our points. We want to hear everyone. That's why it's called Let's Talk Wrestling. I want to hear everyone talking wrestling. We got over 600 on YouTube watching us, and all over X another couple hundreds and all that. We want to hear from you. We want to talk wrestling. That's what it's about. I love it. It's not always about our thoughts. We want to hear your thoughts, and we don't have that dialect debate conversation with one another there. War Raiders versus the New Day. I don't see the New Day losing this. I think we're going to get more history making with the New Day. The War Raiders have been contemplating not retiring, but they're a little banged up, coming a little bit toward the end. We see Ibar is kind of a producer with NXT, and you could still have the War Raiders wrestle and all that, but I don't know if they're going to have a full workload for the War Raiders. I see the New Day winning.
No, I could agree. Valhalla's out with injury, and I think Eric wants to be at home. They got a lot of kids now. I think they have a newborn or something like that within the one or not even 2 years old or something like that. So a couple. So I could definitely see that. I forgot Ivar was doing work with NXT. I totally forgot about that. I did see some things online about that. Totally forgot until you brought that up. So yeah, I could see that, and hell, that'd make the New Day more heel and more. I think it'd be Kev. We would complain about this, but instead of when we would see the New Day go on do vignettes and stuff, but we couldn't see it, and we'd have to see it online. Now they're the tag team champions. You got to put them on TV so where everyone can see them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I want to see where that goes. I think this heel champion New Day.
They do simple heat. They don't go too overboard, and they're gonna talk about trash about your sports team, which we can appreciate, because I think as a sports fan, when Xavier Woods tells Cleveland that Myles Garrett wants to leave this trash ass city, I'm like, yes, yes. And then if it was vice versa, I want to boo the hell out of you. So it's good stuff at the New Day. They're not doing too much. They're doing the simple stuff that gets them the heat, and then that way they would be forced to be on TV. So I like the New Day winning as well.
All right, we go main event, but let me see if Samuel, you're back. Give us your who you think wins between the War Raiders and the New Day.
Oh my God, I don't even have that worked in. I'm like, but with what New Day have done, maybe have the New Day win by cheating. Let them cheat and win and get the win out, and just have them win by cheating or something like that.
Okay, so you got the New Day winning as well. So it's a clean sweep. And Heather makes a good one there. The Raw Raiders worked so hard to get their gimmick back working. Give them a couple of months as champions. I tend to agree with that. We'll like that, but I don't think it's going to happen due to the fact what I mentioned there. They said it they said it on Monday Night Raw about them, coming to long injuries, like it's winding down, and I was like, why is the commentating saying that? And I picked up on and of course, Ibar worked, and by the way, I saw Ibar in the NXT house show, one of the most nicest freaking dude. Oh, Ibar! I mean, a singles babyface run for Ibar would have been awesome. If McMahon was running the show, the Ibar would be a real big deal. The way he conducts himself, I'm like with the fans and the babyface. Oh, he is. Trust me, interacting with Ibar personally. We talk about salt of the earth. That dude is awesome. Ibar is awesome. You guys, Terrence on that. He'll second that one. Awesome dude there. Here's all right. Main event time. The triple threat: Romans, Punk, Paul Heyman in the corner of I don't know who, but a Punk. Is his allegiance with Punk? Is an allegiance with Roman? Is he allegiance with Rollins? It's a Heyman on a stick match. Who do you like winning there? Who do you like winning there, Samuel? Because I'll go with you first.
And yeah, go Samuel. Yep.
Yeah, it's simple. Rollins gets to walk away champion, and not sorry, I say champion. Walk away as the winner and walk away with the wise man. And now he has Heyman in his pocket, because we know Heyman knows it when it comes to stealing talents, looking at something. I don't know who I explained this to. I don't know if it was on the Good Morning Wrestling show, Cheap Plug. I explained this on. I'm like with Roman and Paul. You see the Roman. I think Roman and Paul and Roman. You see the reverence. He's so grateful to be with him, to work for him, to have anything to do with him. When you see him and Punk, it's a love fest. But when you see Heyman and Rollins, it's kind of like a toxic thing. That's if Heyman always hated him, like Heyman always wanted to have anything to do with nothing to do with him. Like you just see that they know they might be good for each other if they can work together. Heyman can do so much for Rollins, just like how Rollins can do so much for Heyman. And the thing is, you might not just understand how the relationship will work, but it's just so intriguing to see Paul Heyman and Rollins. Wow. So it would just be so crazy. And for as me as a human being, I'm like, Roman is fighting over you, Punk is fighting over you. Don't even go with any of them. So that, because obviously if you go with each one, it's problem. So go with the odd one out. Who is the odd one out here? Rollins. It would be so shocking to see him walk away, help Rollins, and walk away with Rollins. That would be crazy. And I can just see Roman just literally like, this is why I never trusted any of you, because Roman has been so backstabbed in his career so much that I just feel for him. He's about to go through another one again. He will be so traumatized after all is said and done. So yeah, I see Rollins walking away with, and he deserves it. Like, I was thinking about it today. I'm like, who was the MVP, the secret MVP last year? I mean, he took all the brunt for Cody, all the insults, looking so small, and he took all of that for Cody, became a shield for him, all pun intended. And not to even think of, he also put over McIntyre the next day. He did that. He still was in the main event. He took everything. He went home, healed up, came back, and has been putting guys over all through the year, all throughout the year. And this is like the first time this is like a first main event that is going in, like with his own story. But as always, he feels like a third wheel. If you add Paul Heyman here, he feels like a fourth wheel, because this story feels more like a Paul Heyman story. A Paul Heyman, Punk, Reigns, and then you have Rollins. So it's like, why give it to all these guys? Let Rollins finally take his flowers as one of the biggest MVP for this company, especially for this administration. Let him win his first main event and come out of it victorious and walk away with Paul Heyman. That would be so shocking. So this will be a wrestling heavy night at WrestleMania, the way I'm looking at the card.
All right. It's because one thing is certain: Roman isn't winning. It's Seth or Punk. Your thoughts, Chris? Who do you like winning the
So
triple threat?
I'm very happy Samuel went first, because I have two. Seth Rollins.
That's fine.
Everything Samuel said for Seth Rollins, I don't have to say, because I agree 100%. I also think Seth Rollins in the long term would make sense. For me, I would love to see CM Punk, because this is, Punk has said it in his promos. If you know the history, the Shield kind of got their breakthrough. CM Punk was a big part of the Shield getting their big break. And how cool would it be for CM Punk to, dominate the Shield, go back a little bit of history, after a decade of leaving, him finally getting his WrestleMania moment, his main event. As a hardcore CM Punk fan, that's what I want to happen. Just the story of overcoming the Shield. I mean, he did it in AEW with Moxley. Now he has a chance to do it in WWE with Rollins and Punk. So me personally, like history, I would love to see that. But I do think Seth Rollins in the long run makes the most like sense, because I agree with Samuel, right? It does kind of feel like a Paul Heyman story with Punk and Rollins, or Punk and Roman kind of fighting for Punk, and then Rollins is at the end like, I told you, and I told you, I told you, I told you. And if we know from Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins' feud with Brock Lesnar going into Mania 35 in MetLife, there is history with Rollins and Punk. This isn't the first time, or Rollins and Heyman. This isn't the first time Rollins has got up by Paul Heyman and said, look, like, this is not the first time. So, we've seen Paul Heyman guys with Seth, or with Roman and Punk. Could we see it with Seth? That's the only question that I have. That's why I won't fully align myself with Seth winning, is because I don't know if he needs Paul Heyman about it, but it would make him look more like, haha, I took your guy and I took your guy, like, so I could see it down the road also where, like, Seth, him finally standing tall to Roman. that was the thing I wanted to talk about a little bit too, because Seth and Roman, it's always been like little. Roman's always treated Seth like little brother. When, in my opinion, I think Seth has always been the breakout guy. And I think a win at WrestleMania for Seth would kind of, solidify him for that. So it is a really weird. I agree with Heather. It is a beloved love triangle. Me personally, I would love Punk to win because of the reasons I mentioned. He's one of the reasons why the Shield got started. Him over, I've ended you guys and I started you guys. But I agree with Samuel also with Seth. Poor Roman, because I don't really have a case for him winning, unfortunately. But that's kind of where I'm at between Punk and Rollins, and those are my reasons why I'm with the both of them.
All right, I like it. I love it. Here's my thoughts on this triple threat: Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. We're witnessing right now the beginning of Roman Reigns' hard times. How do you figure? When did I say, before this triple threat match, Jey Uso possibly becoming your world heavyweight champion, having gold around for the Ananoli family, for the bloodline. You might even have Jacob Fatu with the United States title. 2 members with titles. Plus, he's walking out without his wise man. Roman is left on an island of relevancy alone, by himself with no one. No one around him, no one near him. The Rock is endorsed John Cena as his champion, not his cousin. Roman Reigns is going through his own hard times as we're seeing it being lifted or played out in front of us in real time. I think Roman is the first one out, followed by Punk, Rollins, then Punk, because Punk and Heyman is going to be that cinematic, and seeing Roman's reaction, seeing the wise man coming out with Punk is where it's going to be the money shot, literally, where you're going to see Roman's disbelief and all that emotion in his face, seeing his family with gold and all that stuff, and then he and his wise man not being there. I still think Seth Rollins wins this match, not to go on a long-winded explanation. Seth wins, but it's not with him walking away with the wise man. I think the wise man said, here, I'm done. Taking himself out. I don't think he's going to align himself with Rollins going forward. I still think he's gonna not prevent, but become a distraction for Rollins to win. Favor's done. And remember what Rollins said. He wants to help Paul get out of the way of this match. Not emotionally invested in all that. I still think Rollins wins, because I think it's gonna set up for Rollins, whoever wins in the Undisputed World Championship night 2. It could be Rollins. If he wins against Cody Rhodes part 4, that could go off and running. Or even if it's a John Cena Rollins, because John Cena has to defend that title and not lose it if he becomes their 17 world time champion. And you have history with The Rock and Seth calling him a walking clown emoji. They could always bring that back into storyline and build it for Rollins and John Cena if they were to go for Backlash and all that stuff. So those things are out there on that. We're going to go now to night 2 real quick. I know we're going to rapid fire because you got to get rolling. But before we get going to night 2, I have a quick message. Attention, ladies, the ladies of the wrestling community.
Sports Jedi Network, the Hell of the Ring podcast, is wanting to start and bring on the channel a women's wrestling podcast. We love to keep growing our audience, looking for eager, dedicated, insightful commentary and unique takes on wrestling news. We're impactful voices in the podcast arena. If this sounds like you, please reach out to me, and we want to create wrestling content together. Email me at bxjedi76@gmail.com or DM me at bxjedi76.
Indeed. So we're looking out for the talented ladies out there in the wrestling community. We want to here on the Heal the Ring on the YouTube channel, where, by the way, 45 subscribers away, I believe, for 20,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do help us continue to grow. Not only we do wrestling, MMA, UFC tonight on the playback. We'll tell you a little bit about that at the end of the show as well as all the wrestling, baseball, football, hockey, basketball. The Knicks going to finish their season. So we want to produce, myself, the thumbnails on our platform for ladies to come on here, round table, instead of us gentlemen, you ladies could talk. We want to hear your perspective. Or if you want to mix up with us, different shows, we all, can be all on at the same time, different schedule. We would love to have the female perspective to talk with us here and hear your thoughts, because Heather's putting some great content out there. We'll love Heather to be part and come on and have the conversation and hear her thoughts and give her pound of flesh on camera, on air, and so forth. And of course, we have definitely Spotify, iHeartRadio, where we put this audio platform. We changed it to the audio platform as well, and we continue to have more shows. The Good Morning Wrestling, the Samuel Lyon show that's coming up. We're gonna tell back at the end of the show as well, and all that good stuff. So we got a lot of good stuff on the Sports Jedi Network. It's not just myself, which it's a team. It's a community of just us from all over the world, and I want to continue to grow it, be an impact, all across the social media, podcasting, digital platform everywhere. So I love it there. So let's go. Thank you so much. I appreciate you there. Let's go night number 2. Oh, that's right. I got to put my WrestleMania prediction out too. Hey, you're more than welcome to put it on our platform, Heather, if you want. Definitely could, Heather's Corner, or or the right stuff. Whatever you like to. I even give you some names there. If you could use it on your platform, you could do it on this platform. Let's go. Again, willing to make some thumbnails, some stuff, and all that good stuff. Willing to do it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. Just tag me in. Give me the hot tag. I'm ready to go for that hot tag. Okay, let's go to night number 2. Night number 2. We're going to go a little rapid fire because Chris got to go a little quick here. We know the main event, John Cena and Cody Rhodes. What do you open the card with? I'll go with Samuel quickly. Who do you open the card with to start off night number 2 WrestleMania? Chris, who do you open with?
I would open with the Fatal 4-Way match. I think there would be some good stuff right there. I think Penta's entrance right away would get people going. We're big fans of Braun Breaker on this program. I would love to. I want to see him right away. I could see the Fatal 4-Way match or Paul and Styles, one of the two. But I would like the Fatal 4 match for the Intercontinental title. That'd be a good one.
Who do you like winning?
Hopefully, I think Braun Breaker could still come out. Yeah, I think Braun Breaker. I'm gonna go with Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker will retain, and then I think they'll, when they break, kind of the Liv, Dom, and Finn situation, I think maybe they could fall back to Penta and Braun. If one of those two guys get a title shot, they can go after Braun. But I think Braun retains.
Braun retains. Okay. Samuel. Who do you opening contest where we're first and foremost do you agree that Braun, the Fatal 4-Way should open up the WrestleMania night card number 2 first and foremost, and who do you like winning?
Definitely, yeah. They should open up the show because it feels the same. It feels like an opener. You have Dom there, you have Breaker, you have Penta, and you have Balor. That's amazing athletes, and they're gonna give us a barn burner. And I mean, what a moment it would be to to have Penta win and give the fuck you to the other side. But I understand we are not being petty. We're not going to be petty here. The belt remains with Breaker for me. Breaker should walk out champion because it still has a lot to do with that championship. So Breaker should come out victorious. Let the rest of the boys go crazy. I knew you were doing that. So yeah, I believe they should open the show and Breaker should continue proving why he's the best in the game at the moment. And we have that.
All right. Okay. Here's my thought. I don't want to say, because you love Braun Breaker, he should win. Be honest with you, I wouldn't mind Dominic Mysterio walking out as Intercontinental Champion.
I wouldn't either.
This dude is busted his ass, okay, with wrestling on SmackDown, NXT, Raw, while being a newlywed, while being put into this situation with Liv. They were compelling over the summer. He has done a great body of work, getting the heat, generating the dislikes. If he walks out and then you could protect my guy Braun without losing the title, getting pinned, again, Braun on the chase, or him and Penta could reel her off if they want, or vice or whatever. Braun keeps his eye on the world heavyweight title opportunity. I want to see. I kind of got the Dominic Mysterio winning this match. I could be totally wrong. I would love personally. I would, in my heart, would love to see Braun have his WrestleMania moment and come out holding that title, leaving. Great, I would love that. But I wouldn't mind seeing. Personally, I'm going to root for Dominic. I want to see that chaos. Where Liv. And Finn and all that stuff coming out of there. Or does Finn turn and get jealous and all that good stuff there? Or does there a new member of the Judgment Day? Could we have a Karrion Kross helping out a Dominic Mysterio or someone? Yes, good Samuel. All right, I'm gonna move on because
because we're trying to say that I'm not okay in the aspect of like the bigger moments, like if Breaker is not, if we are not having Breaker win, what's the bigger moment?
Penta is the bigger moment. Penta is the bigger moment. Wow. Damn, no, you got to take care of your people in-house. I think the titles will be there for Penta, but you have to take care of your own people that got you there, that got you to the dance. You don't go dancing for the person. You want to take care of your inner circle, people that got you, help you build the brick by brick. You know, you appreciate the people, the foundation, not the carpet. And I you know, I don't want to say that Penta's carpet. He's not there in the fabric of the foundation yet of this Triple H regime. They just brought him in. I kind of will go with Dominic. To me, that's the bigger one. But again, it's about feel good, so I don't know. Let's move because again, I appreciate Chris's time. He has an appointment that he has to get to, a meeting.
No, I appreciate you guys you guys joining me and starting this early. I appreciate it.
Let's go to a match that I think is going to be a hell of a great match. You could see guys that are AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Holy shucks. That's going to be a match. Regardless if you dislike Logan Paul, he brings it. Chris, who do you like on this?
You know, I love my boy AJ Styles. I have his t-shirt. I was privileged to see him up close, and a building that we all know familiar, the Amway Center, now the Kia Center in Orlando, Florida. I've gotten to see AJ. I bought his shirt there. Love him. But I could see Logan Paul going over in this match. I feel like people still don't give Logan Paul the credit I'm not a fan of Logan Paul, but he deserves credit. He's had good matches with, just in one of his couple matches, he had a banger with Roman Reigns at Clash and in Saudi. And, that's a really hard match to do, especially at that crowd. So I could see Logan Paul getting the win. I would not be surprised. It's going to be a good match, but I love AJ, my boy, but I could see Logan Paul getting the win.
Especially if we see AJ Styles come out at Unbreakable this Thursday, he's going to have his great moment, like holy shit moment, and they're going to talk about it on WrestleMania. Came out at Unbreakable to introduce this inaugural TNA International Champion.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
They're going to be in. That's why you have me, brother.
That is why I have you. You're not wrong.
And I think that's where Logan Paul wins because AJ Styles is going to get a lot of compliment and flowers. Your thoughts, and I think Logan wins. But your thoughts, Samuel, rapid fire on that. Who do you like, and give me your thoughts real quick. Don't freeze, please. Don't freeze. Go ahead, Samuel.
Yeah, I believe this should be like a reminder for everybody that AJ is the best out.
It's choppy. It's choppy. It's choppy, Samuel. Well, we're gonna hold off for a minute there. If you want to refresh, go ahead. We're gonna move. I want to move again because again, we got time restriction. Our guy, El Boricua, El Punisher Martinez, El Único, Damian Priest versus Bory McIntyre. Who do you like winning, Drew I think to me, personally, I said this once and I'm gonna say it again. I think that's gonna be a banger of a match. I think the styles fit each other. I think styles make fight, and I take it back. I don't think it's gonna be a boring match. I think to me that might be one of the unsung matches of the night. I like, you know what? I like Damn, I don't know who I'm gonna go. You got Chris. I don't know who I'm
That's
gonna
hard.
pick.
That's hard. I could see Priest. I could see Priest. But Drew has the momentum with the iPad. He whether we like him or not, he's done some okay work with it, selling it. It's hard because we're rooting for our people, but I could see with Heather here. I kind of agree that I could see Drew McIntyre coming out winning. I hope that's not the case. It's one of those things, right? Personal, what I think is going to happen. Personally, I will want Priest. What I think is going to happen, I think Drew's going to go over.
I think Drew wins. I hate to say it, because he needs a win. I mean, you can't have him always being a loser on these pay-per-view cards. I think
I agree. And Priest had his moment last year. There's still good things going on for him down the road. I think McIntyre would benefit more than Priest. And I know we're rooting for our people, but this might be the one. Yeah, it's just
we're gonna be rooting hard for Damien.
We're gonna be rooting hard. Trust me, I'm wearing my This is night 2, so night 2 Sunday. Yeah, I will be here on night 2. You're gonna see me. I'm rocking. I'll even have the flag, dude. I'm gonna go crazy. But
I'm gonna have my Black Clash Puerto Rico shirt on for that.
I'm gonna have my Damian Priest Puerto Rican shirt. I might get the flag that's down there.
Yeah, Samuel. Hopefully, give me your thoughts. Who wins between McIntyre and Priest? Remember, we're short on time, so not to rush it, but
Yeah, this is what happens when you're not at home. So for Logan Paul, AJ, I believe AJ should use this WrestleMania as a reminder to remind us that I'm still the best in-ring performer in history of pro wrestling, and you're going against the kid that gets that flowers always. So I want them to go right. I can't what they can do, and I hope they can prove me wrong and shut me up. So I am looking going to that match to see AJ come out victorious, and I want them to have a match that everybody will be like, what the fuck just happened? Did I just watch a takeover at WrestleMania? And for McIntyre and Priest, I love Priest so much. Priest has been one of those guys that has had to work his ass off every single time to prove a point. When NXT, when he came over to WWE under Vince administration with Edge and everything, this guy has had to go through Judgment Day, out of Judgment Day, now on SmackDown, and giving one of the story that nobody gives. Everybody says, why is McIntyre relegated to Priest? So Priest, just like I said, for the rest of the remaining of the wrestlers, Priest has to go out there and prove, and I know for sure Drew McIntyre want to prove a point. So Priest has a target on his back to also prove that he himself belongs as one of the biggest stars in this company. And I believe this is going to be Drew's night, and it's also going to be Damien's night. So Drew will go over, but Damian Priest is getting over at WrestleMania.
All right, I like it. We'll move on here. Definitely. By the way, we're getting a new sponsor. It's going to be called Auto Tunes. He'll be joining us. He'll be sponsoring the show. All Auto Tunes, because we talking Auto Tunes. I just have to throw that in here. Don't mind me. I'm a little bit of a goofball. Here you go. AJ needs to wipe the mat with Logan Paul. I can't stand the kid, and the fact that he has a new reality series, even worse. AJ may be 47, but he could go circles around Logan Paul. Absolutely. But it's about big business. It's about making money, pal. And I don't know if AJ, I think AJ is going to be that liaison between TNA and WWE with just by the names. We'll see on that there. Let's go to another match here. The tag team. We were revealed last night with the gauntlet, a hell of a great gauntlet. I didn't want to leave that without honorable mention with the women on SmackDown. That was, to me, fun, awesome. It made sense. Loved it. I know the Bayley and Lyra, I know it doesn't kind of make sense when you had Naomi, Nia Jax, and Candice LeRae kind of teaming up, but we'll leave that because we're running out of time. The Morgan and Rodriguez taking on Bayley and Lyra. Who do you get winning, Chris?
I got Liv Morgan and Raquel retaining, with Bayley and Lyra doing some shenanigans to where they go for the Bayley and Lyra. One of them's heel. Hopefully Lyra. I think Lyra could use the heel kind of transformation, and I think they could have a match at Backlash or whatever's moving forward. Simple,
beautiful. I'm gonna 100% agree with you on that. I'm not even gonna add to that. That was perfectly done. Your thoughts, Mr. Samuel Lyon? Bailey, Lyron Bailey, simple because Bailey hasn't had a WrestleMania win forever. All right. So you think a new women's tag team champion? Okay, I can see that there. And of course, man, this match is so captivating that it took Samuel out for words. I mean, he's lost. He's out for words. He's lost. He puzzled him. It stopped him in his tracks. He's like frozen. My goodness, man, lost for words there. Let's go. What do we have left to review here?
The third triple threat and the Cody.
Triple threat: Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair.
I want Bianca just so she could take that title and have a story with Jay down the road or something. I don't, and I love Rhea. Rhea's my girl. I'm going Bianca in this. I want her to take that title again. Like we talked about, that really opened my mind. That what we talked about earlier between Jade, what they could do with that opened up my mind to a completely different winner for this match. So for that reason, I think Bianca. I want Bianca. Who I think's gonna win though, I freaking hope it's not Rhea, but I could see Io maybe getting the win because we've seen over the couple weeks where it's like, you know, she's not getting the chance to talk to Rhea, and Bianca don't take her serious. You know, Rhea's kind of going like this. She finally said, "I've had enough." She dropped her mic and then she drop kicked the hell out of both of them. So I could see her maybe retain just for that, but I would love Bianca to win.
All right, here's the thing. I think Io wins, and I go, but how? But then you go, Jedi. How do you get to Bianca holding the title against Jade at WrestleMania or at SummerSlam or vice versa? How they get there easily? I don't know. Are they still doing? Are they doing Queen of the Ring this year?
I haven't heard anything. I don't. I haven't heard it. The only thing, because usually they did. I don't know if they're gonna do it in the States or what, but the two shows they did it at Saudi the last couple of times, and the only Saudi shows I think are Crown Jewel and this
only
year,
one. That's it. Only
Jewel,
one.
And then the Rumble next year.
And the Rumble. But if they do the Queen of the Ring, you got Bianca win it, where she gets that title shot available. It you know, where you have Jade, but then that convolutes a little bit. I kind of would like to see Io Sky win. I kind of would like to see if Io doesn't win, and it's a triple threat, anything can happen. Where in that triple threat, where either Naomi wants to help Jade, Bianca, where I'm not saying because they're kind of teasing a little bit of a heel turn for, but then you don't get it's convoluted. I don't know how they're going to get there. My point is, anything in the realm of possibility could happen. Where's Asuka? Returning Asuka to surprise Io Sky is thinking they're going to be an ally, and she's happy because and all of a sudden, boom, Asuka is no longer in favor with Io, and Io's like she can't catch a break. You know, everyone's turning on her. And you know, with Damage Control, what the hell happens? No, there aren't from what I heard. Okay, they're not doing it. I love Io to retain, but Bianca has this one. If Bianca wins this, great, because then it sets up for that SummerSlam moment in the summer. Jade, you could build for it where she's champion and Jade could get in her face and so forth. But you still have Nia as the obstacle. But again, personally, if I gotta pick one to make it long story short, I think Io wins. I'm gonna go with Io. I said it first out of my mouth. I'm gonna stay with it. I think Bianca makes more of the business sense, but let's go with the triple threat champion. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, legacy 17th opportunity for him. Do we see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the final boss, show up? Do Andre the Giant come out and help Cody Rhodes like he did last year with The Undertaker and the whole wrestling ghost of legends come out and help him retain? Your thoughts?
I'm gonna say this. I want Cena to get his 17th title. I want Cena to get a 17th title. I don't know how that's gonna happen. There are a lot of things that could happen. We could get the shenanigans. This is the match that I'm not too sure on right now, that I would probably have to come back on next week, Thursday, or Sunday, but right before the match, because I don't know. I truly don't know, and I really want to see what John Cena does on Friday. Right now, an early prediction is just I want Cena to get that 17th. I think it'd be really cool. I think there's still so much more to do with Cena with the title, and you know what? Cody doesn't have to have a Roman Reigns long. He could lose it and then go back after it, no problem. That doesn't make him down. He's still the face of the company. He's not gonna lose fans overnight. He's not gonna any of that just by losing to Cena. SummerSlam, that's the main event for one of the nights again. So I'm still stuck on that one, but early prediction. I'll give an official prediction for that match next week. But early prediction, I would love Cena to win that 17. I do.
By the way, you guys have all the right to reserve your picks, because from here until Friday, you have the right to change your mind. There's nothing wrong. Oh, you said this, you have to stay. No, you have the right to reserve until WrestleMania ringing of the bell. You have the right to change your mind. Samuel, who do you like? Give me just the winner of the triple threat of the women, Bianca, because you had issues, and then give me your main event.
All right, so this one is easy for me. This one is easy for me. Night one, Naomi walks out winner of that match, and she goes over at night two and fuck it up for and fuck it up for Bianca. Have Io Sky retain that championship match. Let Naomi fuck it up for Bianca, and then night one main event. You know, we all wanted night one main event to have something to do with night two. Night one, Rollins. Let Rollins walk out with Paul Heyman. Night two, Cody. I love it. The story would be so amazing. You know, Cody is our champion for 1 year. He's done it. He took the championship to the main event against one of the biggest names in the industry in John Cena, and he can win and retains, and that's all love. But where is the money at? The money is Cena at 17. Get that 17 done. How does he get it done? Let him fuck Cody so much that Rollins and Heyman, they are the ones that will cost Cody. So Cody, the person that was your shield last year, has unshield himself. He's shown you the real him. Because let's look at it. Since Cody became champion, he was begging Kevin. He was begging Kevin Owens for, let me give you a championship match. Let me give you a championship match. You were giving out free shots. You were joining hands with Roman. The same man. You know, Rollins is out here getting angry with Punk. He should be getting angry with Cody. I mean, Cody shook hands with the enemy that you helped him. You broke your knee. You injured yourself. You killed yourself for him to win and take down the Roman Empire. And he was able to walk back in because he's champion. And where is Rollins' flowers? Did Cody ever pay Rollins back for everything he did for him since becoming champion? So Rollins should get pissed and be like, I got my main event. I am a winner. And he tells Paul Heyman, go, I need to get in there. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I need to go fuck it up for Cody. And then they make fucked it up for Cody. Cena is 13 times champion. Rollins is now with The Rock. Rollins is with Paul Heyman, and Rollins fucks it up for Cody. And Cody has the biggest target on his back because he has The Rock to chase. He has Cena to chase. He now has Rollins to chase. He's dealing with Paul Heyman. I mean, hard times all over again. What should this man? What the hell is going on with this man? This man would be, let him suffer. Let him suffer. So Cena,
I like
17,
that.
Rollins fucks it up.
I like that. I like that because it's a total swerve. I like that, Samuel. I like where you're coming from. Total swerve there. Yeah, I like that there because I think I have John Cena winning this match here. I think The Rock has something to do with this. With another member part of that group, we're like, oh damn, I didn't expect that. Could it be Rollins? No, because I think that Rollins and Cena, Rollins and Cody, if they win, I've said because he called them, or maybe Rollins does sell his soul to The Rock because he kept calling him talking code, walking, talking clown emoji. Where now he goes, you know what? Then make me relevant, make me no longer be a clown. I saw because Rollins did dab himself in movies with I believe it was in the Captain America last movie, although his scene got cut off, but he's done movies and stuff and says, I want to get in there. I don't want my movies cut. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I can see that. I like what you were talking on that. I think Cena wins as well. And I think that's going to be great going forward. And also remember, you still got that cross promotion, Joe Henry and TNA World Champion, John Cena. He called them out. I don't know if they're going to make that, especially if AJ Styles makes that appearance, like we say at TNA, which I've been saying that nothing has come to pastor with it. I haven't seen anything with that, but it'll be awesome for us wrestling fans. Like, closing, that forbidden, quote unquote, forbidden door, keep kicking down on that. So we'll see. Because speaking of forbidden door, The Rock put it on Instagram, a picture of him wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt. Is there something to see into that, or it's just a coincidence? We're looking at a Rubik's Cube. Is there a subliminal message, or it's just you just happen to have a T-shirt? Chris, just happen to be a T-shirt. What are your thoughts?
Happen to be a T-shirt.
Okay. No subliminal message. We'll see. I think there is a message behind it. I don't know what it is exactly. You guys, Samuel.
You know another thing I was thinking. Now, if they don't want to go with the Rollins route, last year we all wishing for Stone Cold Steve Austin to come help
Oh, he's
Cody,
gonna be there.
and we got the other guy. Now it's been confirmed. The man is going to the Hall of Fame. The man is going to be at WWE's World. The man is in Las Vegas. Now everybody's like, oh, we will have Avengers game, Endgame again. So what happens when Stone Cold comes out? But this time around, he's not coming to help Cody. He turns. I mean, the man we all thought is going to help, and he turns and he joins The Rock. I mean, that's where the money is. I mean, The Rock is the money. So Cody will be like, what? So everybody has to go with The Rock because he's power. He's power. So I just can't wait. Anyhow they look at it, Cody should not be walking out of this WrestleMania champion because the money is in Cody having hard times all over again. Let him, like Nightmare. His name is American Nightmare, right? His Nightmare is about to befall him. Last year was a Cinderella story. This year, my God, the clock is about to strike 12 on him again.
Oh, I like that. And Heather said New Japan doesn't have that kind of money. No, but The Rock does. The Rock with this TKO, if they buy New Japan. Let's face it, New Japan is in the tank. It's been pillaged, poached of his top talent. They don't even have an Access TV deal. You don't really see them. The pay-per-views are in nowhere. They're in the mud. No one really draw that interest. No one wants to see Tamaichi, coming out there, and all the different stuff. When Red Shoes is your top draw and he's a referee, where he has people talking, there's a problem with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Losing Ospreay, losing Jay White, Zack Sabre Jr. is the only one waving that flag in that company, and there's a few others, but recognizable name. And The Rock putting that message. TKO is out there. Endeavor is looking to buy everything, other thing, so they're like the Saudi company that bought all these different sports, Live Sport, Live Golf, Live stuff. And I think TKO Endeavor is doing that right now, trying to bring everything under one umbrella. Wouldn't be surprised if New Japan is, they're dabbling to try to purchase New Japan or, because to have that, The Rock being a board member of the WWE putting on another wrestling company that's not, that would have been different if it was an ECW, WCW, or even old time. Heck, his grandparents' wrestling promotion. But New Japan is still around. There's a subliminal. And with a Rubik's Cube, you have to figure out the Rubik's Cube, and he's looking at that. There's a subliminal message with that, guys. I don't know exactly, but it's a good talking point. But that's our WrestleMania prediction. Right to reserve. We have the right to reserve our picks until Friday night, before it gets going. Will that have that there? No. Heather says no. New Japan won't let themselves get bought out. They fought off the WWE buyouts for years, Japanese in general. But no longer is Inoki part of that. He's passed away. Different regime. It's the same thing right now with TKO and WWE. Vince McMahon's, the McMahons are no longer in creative and say TKO, if they want, they could sell this in a couple years to someone else that, to ESPN or Disney. And we're like, ugh, why? But we can't say nothing because their McMahons won't sell it. They could actually sell it to the cons. They're like, yeah, fuck this. I want out. Here, give me $25 billion. Yeah, here, take it. I already made double my investment, and they'll sell it to whoever has that money at that time of the year. So never say never. I've seen that. I never thought I'll see, Inoki hasn't been part of New Japan since 2020. Okay, thanks for clarifying that. I did not know because I don't follow that product there, but it is what it is on that with it. But I do want to say, Chris, before you get out, I want to let you know.
I gotta get going.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Give us your final thoughts. I'll run this little bit of a promo, and then we'll.
No, go ahead. Final thoughts. Good week of wrestling. I'm excited for WrestleMania. I want to give a shout out to Samuel. I want to give a shout out to Kev for starting the stream early. And we have a crazy week next week for you guys. Again, I apologize. I'm kind of the reason why we're going on time or on a time frame here, but we got some good stuff coming for you guys. Tonight with the UFC and next week. So appreciate Samuel and Kev. Good week of wrestling. We had some good conversation. I can't wait to talk to you guys soon. I'll be there for Monday night, the Raw watch along. So I'm back. So I'll see you guys Monday night.
Yeah, go take care of your business. But speaking of tonight, the same kid in there, my son Austin, I just saw him there. Let us know about that. We has a special watch along tonight, and here we go. Tonight, on the playback on Sports Jedi Network, totally at no cost. We have a big matchup coming up.
UFC 314 Volkanovski vs. Lopez. Watch along with Sports Jedi Network live on the Playback TV app for free to view. The UFC is back in South Florida for UFC 314, takes place Saturday at Casilla Center in Miami. In the headliner, former featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski, 26-5 record, 13-4 in the UFC, takes on Diego Lopez, 27-6 MMA fights, 6-1 in UFC, for the belt vacated when Ilia Topuria moved up to lightweight. In the co-feature, Michael Chandler, 23-9 record, 2-4 in UFC, takes on Paddy Pimblett, 22-3 MMA record, 6-0 in UFC, at lightweight. Plus, former Bellator all-time great and two-division champ Patricio Freire, 36-7 MMA RECORD, makes his UFC debut against Yair Rodriguez, 19-5 MMA record, 10-4 in the UFC. So grab your snacks and join us for a fun and engaging live stream experience. Don't be just a spectator, be a participant in the chat. Join US Live.
That's tonight on the Playback, Sports Jedi Network Playback. Of course, reach out. We'll definitely have that. You can watch it at us, right at us, the Sports Jedi's time. Watch the fights from Miami, Florida. Where 9:30 kicks off. The card is at 10, but we'll do the prelims main event and set the table up. Of course, with my son Austin, myself. I believe Chef Dan will be in the chat as well as Chris. So if you are a UFC fan or you want to get into UFC fan, join the watch along. Join us there. Let's get into. Let's watch MMA as well and start getting into that as well with us. Join us there, because we continue to expand the watch along game, the reach on our platforms, and of course, don't forget Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the Good Morning Wrestling Show with this guy here, Samuel Lyons. He's doing some good things in the morning, before you wake up with your cup of coffee, talking about the world of wrestling. And Samuel Lyons have another adventure happening, coming soon. We're having some recording with the folks out in Lagos, Nigeria, some artists, some pop culture, some music, some other stuff, interviews, and let's hear a little bit from it. Here's the introduction on what's coming up.
Get ready for an epic talk show, The Samuel Lyons Show. Broadcasting on the Sports Jedi Network platform. Host, Samuel Lyons. Featuring in-depth interviews with local artists from the realms of music, pop culture, and podcasting. Engaging about everyday life, sports, movies, and gaming. Grab your snacks and join us for an unforgettable experience. Come for the stories, stay for the fun. Presenting your host, the one and only, from the Samuel Lyons Net Express in Largo, Nigeria, Samuel Lyons.
Oh yeah, baby, come to me. Let's talk. Samuel, give us your thank you. Your second show here, Good Morning Wrestling, and then the Samuel Lyons Show. Tell us about what to expect from the Samuel Lyons Show.
Well, this is amazing. This was like I'm so elated that this concept is coming over to Sport Jedi Network because this was a concept of mine to kick off the year, and it was supposed to be it was originally meant to for my YouTube channel, the Samuel Lyons Next Express on YouTube. I actually did kick that off, but I've always wanted to do something more to always broader audience, broader space, and like in a more not just centered only on like make it only for my countrymen and only for Africa, only for Nigeria. So to have to be on a space where we these stories, these people, these personalities can have the opportunity to be heard by people other than us, and it's just a great opportunity to be out there and to have another show here on the network is so fun for me. Like, I can't wait to hit DMs, make phone calls, and get these guests rolling in. And the sweetest part of this is that they have to have like they have to sit down with me and they have to talk about some certain things. And this is just an opportunity to to do something outside of sports, outside just to bring in people and just hear stories and comfort and just be for the fun, just like the tagline say, come for the story, stay for the fun. It's an educative and also an entertaining show. I'm just looking at it to in a way it's creatively done, and we are going to see what we can do with it. We are still working on it, and I can't wait for the first few couple of episodes to drop, and I'm actually working on it. I'm so grateful this is happening, and I appreciate you, Sakev. Thank you so very much for the opportunity to do this, and shout out to you, Chris, and every other person doing things on this network. And we can't wait to do more and scale. And I'm just so happy for this opportunity, especially for the opportunity to be able to do something like this. And I can't wait to really do this, and I can't wait for you guys to see what we are trying to do out here on this show. So the Summer Lion show, you should watch out for that. And don't forget, Good Morning Wrestling, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Cheap plug, yeah, on Sportsline Network. Thank you so much, Sakev.
No problem. Don't forget also to tune into MMA Weekly with Austin, my son. That's my young son. My youngest son does a breakdown of the UFC, does a phenomenal job. He'll tell you from all different types of his perspective of fight angles, fight matches, who's on the card, who's up and coming, rising, his predictions, his thoughts, his uncensored, unfiltered thoughts, the way, it should be. Speak your mind, not just the masses, or, be you. And that's what he does. He talks about the MMA world, the MMA fight, an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to the MMA game, knowing what training camps these fighters are in. Talk to you a little bit about some UFC, some Pride, some one fighting. The kid is well versed in the UFC, in the world of MMA fight and combat sports. Give him an opportunity, shout him out, take a look, follow him with his videos there, and of course his thoughts. And he'll be on there for that UFC 314. Does a great job. And again, without Austin helping myself and Chef Dan launch this channel to close to 20,000 subscribers, with his knowledge of the UFC, really help us on the map. Can't go unsung and unspoken about. Helped us done that with our interview with MMA, with Bellator MMA heavyweight. Was awesome with Billy, and it was just a good job there. They really did a good job. Billy Swanson had a good, we interviewed him on our first interviews. We were raw. We were, I think, just 1,000 subscribers in, and Billy Swanson gave us an interview, and they killed it, knocked it out of the park. And I go, yeah, this is an MMA based channel with him, and Chef Dan and Austin just continues to excel in the MMA world. And that's nothing. We have another talented son when it comes to the MMA world. He's right now doing things with school, but if they were to go on it, they'll be like a mega powers of MMA podcasting. But yeah, oh my God, the conversations that they have about the MMA world while we're either having dinner or when they're conversating, I'm like, this should be on a freaking podcast, because they break things down. It's like, whoa. But that's on that. I just wanted to give them that mention, that shout out. Do a phenomenal job. But with that said, thank you guys for joining us this Saturday morning or Saturday brunch hour. Don't forget that we got a lot of shows. We are looking for those talented ladies. Please, we're willing to do it. We want to hear your voice. Don't get upset and say, this is a chauvinistic platform. Not this one, but in the YouTube space or podcasting world. At least myself, we want to have your voice amplified. 20,000 subscribers amplified or more. Yes, but it's somewhere. We want to give you that platform. I want to give you that soapbox. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear, what do you think? Let us know where you're wrong. But, like tonight, this afternoon, we had a different perspective on creative. Heather Wright has some great creative perspectives that, I didn't thought about it. Good. I want to hear that. I want to talk that. I want to amplify it to X, to YouTube, to Rumba, to all the platforms on audio, and let's grow. Let's grow this, because we want to at least know the wrestling community. Yeah, we may not be taking the bumps, but we're the ones that pay and invest our time to make you guys rich and make you guys live those comfortable lives. When you says, how do you know? You don't know shit. You never took a bump. That gets thrown a lot to our wrestling fans. Yeah, but we're the ones that dictate what you're going to make and take home and invest in that product. Buy that T-shirt, buy that pay-per-view, buy that action figure, pay the $200 or the $500 to meet you for 20 seconds. We're the ones that will pay that. And you know what? We want our voices to be heard as well. So that's why we have there. So with that said, have a great Saturday afternoon. We enjoyed everyone that came for the ride. Thank you for the likes, all the subscribers, all the followers. We appreciate you guys. And of course, like we always say, may the sports be with you. Remember, get over in life. Don't get pinned by the outcomes. Always get over. Kick out at 2 and always live for another day. Always, live the gimmick. So we'll see you next time here on the Sports Jedi Network. Heal the Ring podcast. Good afternoon, guys.